And I don't know if it was in the same spot, but they did have an earlier leak during the season where they had to stop the game for a while to fix it. Now, did they try to fix it with some Gorilla Glue? Because that only lasts for so long.
Well, Gorilla Glue, I hear, is pretty good. JB Weld, why not that? That's worked for me.
But to patch up a roof on the arena with Gorilla Glue? Nah, that ain't going to work.
No, probably not. Probably not.
No.
What you think, Vrabel? Probably not.
Man.
Why do we have that as a drop like every time?
We've got to have that. We
got to have that right there readily available.
It's got to be ready. Probably not.
I've just never seen an NBA playoff game delayed for rain. It was literally raining in the arena. And the players, the expressions on their faces were like, is this really happening?
You has to be kidding me.
Right. We're in a rain delay. Like it looked like there was a hole where the rain outside was just going straight to the in, right? That's what it looked like. It didn't look like a leak. It looked like it was raining straight to the floor.
They had a retractable roof.
They had a retractable roof.
Yeah.
You know the best part about that though is watching Shaq, Ernie, Kenny, and Barkley. Now they have to basically, do this sort of impromptu show, and you don't know what's going to be said by those guys now.
No.
It's like really, it's just like all bets are off now.
Hold on for dear life.
Exactly. But it was the funniest thing because first thing after a while, Charles come walking up. They talk about his suit. They call it a salmon. Ernie calls it a salmon suit. He comes up and he just starts going off completely. I'm like, well, that's Charles. I said, that's the best show on television, man.
It's so much fun. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
You can't recreate that.
No.
They'll never be able to recreate that.
No,
show.
but I'll say this: I've gotten to what I really enjoy. It's a different mix under the same idea.
No, it's not even close.
Nah, it's not.
Well, no, it's
they
not
try
close.
too hard, man.
Nah, it's not.
But I like them though.
I mean,
They-
we can find other shows we like.
I think it's
We're
so
talking
much
about this standard. Like they're not even close.
Yeah.
Like,
Did I say it was? No, I didn't say it was even close. I just said I've come to really enjoy it, and it's sort of in the spirit. It's the same producer. It's Turner that said, okay, this is how you need to do studio shows.
There's no personality other than, Anson Carter has somewhat of a personality, but the other
Paul
ones,
Bissonnette has personality. I like him. Well, look, they're coming off of the lowest. I got to where I did not want to watch. I had no desire to watch the studio shows between periods. Remember, in a hockey game, you don't have just a halftime show. You got a first intermission and a second intermission, plus pre and post game. And I never wanted to watch any of it for NBC. I just think these guys actually do get into the issues.
Because they had Mike Milbury in there. Like nobody could stand him.
That's the point I'm making. It's come a long, long way. And I think the chemistry has gotten a lot better since the start of the season. This is only the first year they've done it. I hope it will even get better.
You know who they need to put
Rick
on
Tocchet
there?
might get a job. He very well could go back and coach somewhere. I think hockey is a way different vibe. But this is really good for hockey, trust me, because it was just so vanilla before. There was just nothing
it's an
of
upgrade
all.
to what
it's
they
a huge upgrade.
But it is.
It's a huge upgrade.
Again, we're trying to compare. It's not even like doesn't mean
I
one
didn't
day,
say it was even close.
Yeah, well,
They're the best. Charles
But
is the
you
best. I
chose
just
to
got done
go
saying
over-
that.
You chose to dive right into that. We're talking
I
about
never
the
said-
NBA, and you're like, you know what, guys? Let me just tell you this. TNT. I'll tell you. Hockey,
It's the
TNT.
best.
You segued right into it. That's our point. Our point is you went right into it. Is it better? Yes. Of course
Way
it's better.
better.
You know who
It
they
had
need to
nowhere
hire.
to
You
go
know
but up.
You know who they need to hire.
In the
Who's
hockey
that?
world?
Yeah,
You talking about
on
hockey?
on that panel. You know who they need to hire.
Hold on. Let us guess.
Yes, go ahead. Y'all know who it is.
Dennis Rodman.
Dennis Rodman.
Absolutely no.
Absolutely.
No.
You're darn tootin' they do.
No, but besides Dennis Rodman,
you want Dennis
PK.
Rodman and someone
PK,
else.
absolutely. PK
Oh, yeah.
Subban on that panel, it would
help.
It would change the dynamic of it because I think he would almost demand that those other guys have personality.
Yes, I agree. But the thing is, ESPN, I think, has got a beat on him. Now, ESPN once again, this is all relative, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing compares to Charles and those guys, but TNT is light years better. The ESPN panel, I don't care who they had on there, it's lame.
Way better. It's lame.
Agreed.
Yeah.
They're awful. I hate to say it. There's nothing. I don't watch their coverage in the intermissions.
No.
It's just there's nothing that I look forward to. The TNT, I want to see the discussion. I think it's a good discussion.
It's way better. But again, I'm not going to praise it. It had nowhere to go but up. Like it was embarrassingly bad. Where one person really drug it down. But I mean, overall, there just wasn't a lot of meat there. There just wasn't much there. Now, but can they improve? The problem is, how do you ever try to, duplicate, replicate, whatever word you want to use, Shaq and Barkley? Like, that's almost an impossible, right? Like, how do you find –
Nobody's ever going to match it.
Like PK Subban's got personality, but has he got personality where he's willing to say anything? I don't know.
I don't think in that sport you can say
and that's
anything.
why those guys are intriguing, because they don't care. They will say anything. And I don't know if they've got that on the hockey side. I don't know if PK's got personality, but is he willing to say anything? Is he willing to criticize? Is he willing to say stuff where you go, whoa, okay? Is he willing to do that? I don't know. I have my doubts.
Well, I mean, hockey's a different world than basketball. Even football. I mean, there's no show that rivals on the football side that rivals, Shaq and Ernie and those guys.
I don't watch those shows.
You're right. They stand
I don't
alone.
go out of my way to watch any of those. If I happen to see some, I'll watch it, but I don't sit there and go, boy, I got to see what the guys
are
saying.
I don't, no.
But Shaq and Charles, I'm like, I want to see what they have
I
to
just
say.
want to see what they got.
I want to see what they're doing because it's going to be entertaining. But as for PK, he's still an active player right now. So you're going to handle it differently now than you do after you're done playing. I think the transition is where you have to go from being –
we got to give it time. Yep. Yeah. You're right. Once he's done, it should change. You're right. That's fair. I mean, he's still a player. Like I don't expect him to do that as an active player, but when he is officially done, and if this is where he's going, and then let's just say his path ends up there, I'm wondering if he can go. I'm not asking him to be Barkley. Nobody's going to be Barkley.
No.
But can he go that direction? Can he say tough things? Can he criticize?
Oh, he can. But are you willing to? It's a willingness. It's not of whether you can or not.
Yeah. All right. Let's come back and talk to the birthday boy. Let's talk to Todd Walker. It's his birthday. Talk a little SEC baseball. Willie was up till 4 a.m. watching. Rain delays. We'll see if they ever pull the tarp off today. I think they will. It's nice here. Hopefully it'll be nicer in Hoover. We'll talk to Todd Walker next here on the DDC ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Robbie and Rex Road here on ESPN.
Welcome into the DDC.
Stillman Company is delivered.
There's a new way to hear 102.5 The Game.
Nashville's best sports talk on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24. You now have two choices to hear our great sports programming.
Get the extra point, no problem.
And the Nashville Predators.
He scores!
Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Hey, it's Mike from Newton Nissan. Have you ever seen a commercial for something that they build up to be amazing, only to be completely disappointed? You have these high expectations, and then boom, all the wind taken from your sails. The product isn't what you expected, and you end up feeling let down and maybe even lied to. Sound familiar? So many car dealers promise more than they can deliver, and you end up with extra fees, and your payments end up higher than you expected. You don't get that when you shop at Newton. The price you see on the site is the price you pay at the store. You can even work your deal online with Newton FastPass. We want all our customers to have a VIP buying experience. You don't have to take our word for it. Hundreds of our customers leave reviews online each month talking about our honest and transparent buying experience. The proof is in the pudding. Come see for yourself. Shop and buy online with Newton FastPass at newtonnissan.com. See website for details, Pudding Pop, Bomb Pop, kingofpop.org.net.com.edu.
I come from a military family.
That's Stasha at Genesis Diamonds talking about the Hero Rewards program at Genesis, providing special discounts every day for heroes in uniform.
Whatever their budget is, we're going to make sure it stretches the best for them and that they will get the most beautiful ring at the best value.
Special hero pricing on any item extends to all military plus police, fire, and first responders.
They make us have the great life we have, and we are eternally grateful for that.
Genesis Hero Rewards program and free services is yours for life, no matter where you move.
Travel anywhere in the world, we're one phone call away. So no matter where you're stationed, if you're military or if you're a police officer and you go to another state, we're going to take good care of you.
Of course, it doesn't hurt that Genesis owner Boaz Ramon is himself a veteran of the Israeli Army.
Boaz, having served in the military, appreciates the military and what they do for us.
Genesis Diamonds, where our heroes in uniform get red carpet pricing and white glove treatment every day of the year.
Because they're there for us.
Genesis Diamonds and pre-owned Rolexes, continuously voted best jewelry store and best place to buy an engagement ring. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
What if you could be debt-free in 3 weeks? Hey, Willie Donick here. My friends at Loan Pronto are helping people do it every day. It's Loan Pronto's Debt Consolidation Home Refi, wiping out tens of thousands in credit card debt. Listen, your home's value is way up. You can refinance now, take money out to pay off all your credit cards, eliminate PMI charges, pay off personal loans, or other high-interest debt. One local couple had over $50,000 in credit card debt. Loan Pronto did a debt consolidation refi. And even though their mortgage rate went up a tad, they cut their monthly payments by $900. Why pay 20% interest when you can consolidate it to one low payment with a mortgage APR in the threes? Homeowners who do it save an average of $800 a month. Do it now and even skip your next house payment altogether. That's what I call financial freedom. Call Loan Pronto now. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
It's on. It's happening.
Remember, you can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter.
Get out of the way, I'm watching the game.
Presented by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. You're listening to the DDC.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On ESPN 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Back here on the DDC, ESPN 102.5 The Game. Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, Derek Mason with you. We always enjoy our conversations with our next guest, Todd Walker. He's such a swell guy. He's nice enough to do this on his birthday. Of course, we're going to talk a little SEC baseball.
And let's also say to Todd that we are all up on our LSU baseball history because the Skip Bertman biography has been on a loop. It's been on a loop. I've seen it like SEC 4 times Network because of all the rain delays on SEC Network. So, Todd, I know everything about LSU baseball now.
Can we find you in this LSU loop on SEC Network, Todd?
That's hilarious because I've been watching it too. And you pay them enough money, they'll put you out there. This is my one time a year I get a little identity. So, man, it's been fun to watch and stuff I didn't even know. So it's kind of cool.
You're down currently 8-7 to the Hurricanes. I have a feeling you guys are going to come back and win. I really do.
Yeah,
I can feel it.
Put your money on Warren Morris.
That's right.
And there it is, down the third baseline.
$1,000,000 to 1 for him to come up big in that game. Well, you win a lot of money.
Well, speaking of LSU, they certainly humbled Vanderbilt to end the regular season at the Hawk. Boy, the bats exploded. What did you see in that series? Man, it's rare you see teams come in, and obviously Tennessee swept Vanderbilt earlier this year, but LSU and that offense, boy, they really took it to Vanderbilt over the weekend.
What's great about this game is you can't predict it. I've been in it my whole life, and they get swept by Ole Miss the week before, did LSU, and a weaker pitching staff, I would say. In Baton Rouge, they only scored 9 runs. They didn't have Jacob Berry. Then they go to Nashville against a really nice pitching staff. I mean, we all know that. Carter Holton didn't throw. So, I mean, that's not the whole reason, but, that would have helped. But they get Jacob Berry back in that lineup, and regardless of what he does, in terms of stats, just that you get your main guy back in the lineup makes a difference. And I think that's part of it. They moved Dylan Cruz up to the leadoff spot, so Jay Johnson kind of shifted that lineup around a little bit, and it worked. It worked, and it's incredible. But LSU has to score that many runs. They kick the ball around, and when Mikael Hillier's not on the mound, they're going to walk some guys and give away a lot of free passes. But in the games when they win, 21-10 like they did in Nashville in certain games like that, then obviously errors and walks don't matter. But when they're tight, that's when LSU gets in trouble because they give away more free passes than the other team.
You played on really good LSU teams. You understand what it's like to have a target on your back. Tennessee is going to have a target on their back, and it's unfair expectations, but guess what? It's the expectations they've created when you have a regular season. They did. It's like anything short of at least playing in the national championship game, right, is going to fall short of expectations. People are going to be like, oh, man, you got to be kidding me. How did that happen? What is it like? Because you got the SEC tournament, you've got regionals, you've got super regionals. There is still, as you said, or as you know, a long path. It's like here's season 2 to get to the finish line, and everybody's gunning for you. What's that like?
I didn't care. You're gonna play your best. That being said, as you know the stat, since 1999 when they started all this super regional stuff, that first year Miami was number 1 in the country and they won the whole thing. Since then, what is that, 22 years, not counting 2020, 23 years, no number 1 has ever won the national championship. So it's baseball. We know baseball. I mean, any given day, anybody can show up and beat you. Then how do you play when your back's against the wall? How do you play with that kind of pressure? So we've talked about, is Tennessee the greatest team of all time? As of right now, yes, but you said it perfectly. There's 2 different seasons. You've got to win the second season also to be considered the greatest team ever, which means you're going to have to play with pressure on you. You're probably going to lose a game somewhere along the line where you're down to 1 game with your season on the line. You might have somebody get injured, so you have to replace him with somebody, and they've got to do well. You've got to have people do things that you don't expect them to do. Like, not that we don't expect Spencer Jones to do what he's doing, but good Lord, that guy's coming on big time here, and so is Enrique Bradfield Jr., So, but those aren't even good examples. I'm talking about somebody off the bench or somebody you hadn't played a whole lot that steps in and does something great. And then ultimately you got to have a little bit of luck. I mean, Oregon State 2018, they were beat, but they plopped now you could, say what you want about Arkansas and the fly ball in right field and the triangle, but it could have easily been right at first base. It could have easily been right up in the air of the pitcher. It just so happens. So you got to have luck too. And so we had this debate, like, is Tennessee the greatest team ever? They are right now. Statistically, nobody's better. But we were saying, do they have to win it all to still be considered? And the answer is yes. I think they've got to finish that second half of the season, like you said.
Yeah. We've also talked on this show about, and we talked to Tim Corbin and, periodically on this show, and just we've talked to him for a long, long time. And we always try to gauge, like, what is – the level of the play in the conference. I mean, the SEC is always so high when it comes to baseball. But in my opinion, and we've kind of differed a little bit, I kind of feel like this year is down a bit. And I know we're just sitting here talking about Tennessee and their dominance, and we can go through the good teams, but I kind of feel like it's top-heavy. It's not all the way from top to bottom as heavy as it's been in the past. Do you agree or disagree with that?
I think the first time we had this knee-jerk reaction thinking the SEC's down this year is because all the aces they've lost, and then watching, Kumar Rocker and Jack Leiter do their thing last year, and then all these big-time aces, and that was the storyline, and Landon Sims and Will Bednar at Mississippi State, and all these, these big-time arms. This year, they're just not there. They're not there, and so I think that's why we say that. The offense clearly is. They've scored more runs per game in the SEC this year than they ever have in the BB-Core era. So the offense is there for sure. But I think that's why we say that, because, the lack of aces are missing. And in the end, baseball is all pitching. You have to have the arms, the aces. And that's why I've been saying this all year. And then they, like you said, Vanderbilt got swept by LSU there at the end. But I've been saying Vanderbilt's going to make a run. They are. Their numbers are too good. They've got all the pieces in place. They got the leadoff guy. Thomas Schultz isn't a dominant closer, but he's a good closer. The arms they have on, if Devin Futrell can kind of get comfortable in that spice role, where he's, having to pitch on the openers on Friday nights and that elevated expectation. Because, Tim Corbin, I think he told you guys that too. He was hesitant to move Devin out of the weekday because he's a freshman, and, he was cruising. And now you're seeing why he was hesitant to do that, because it just changes. Just because you're dominating in one role doesn't mean you're going to dominate in another role. And but I think Devin Futrell has a lot of talent, so I think he'll kind of get comfortable. But I still think Vanderbilt's going to make a run. They won last night. Whether or not they win the SEC tournament, I don't know. But somewhere along the line, they're going to win a regional, and they're a scary 2 seed for sure.
Todd Walker is with us, former LSU star, doing work, of course, for the SEC Network at the SEC Baseball Tournament. Todd, there's 2 issues that I want to get your take on that I think are sort of college baseball topics right now, and certainly down there. And that is, you just mentioned, Vanderbilt's best pitchers are freshmen in high school, and even the unique case of Christian Little, who is really the age of a college freshman, but in his second year. But you contrast that with the fact that after COVID and the transfer portal and the number of things lining up, you've got generally an older college baseball player on the average this year. What effect do you think that's having on the game?
I think of my own situation. So we had a guy named Tookie Johnson played second base at LSU. He was the best second baseman ever to play at LSU. They win the national championship in 1991. I came in the fall of 91, and Tookie Johnson left. And so my thought was, if the transfer portal was available back then, I wouldn't have played, or maybe get stuck in left field. Not to mention COVID year where Tookie Johnson would have come back. But the transfer portal, they definitely would have gone out and filled that role with somebody that had 800 plate appearances in 4 years at another school, and I wouldn't have played. So to answer your question, I think it's changed in the fact that you can't develop young kids, and that's what's unique about Vanderbilt and Tennessee is you've got these freshmen and sophomores, like you just mentioned, that are getting a ton of experience early. So they're built for the future, which is great. That's what you want. You want a little combination of both. But that being said, you got the freshman arms going up against Texas A&M's lineup, who's all older kids. Auburn doesn't have a sophomore in that lineup. It's all juniors and seniors. And so it's got to be intimidating to a certain level. And I still think of Futrell's situation where now all of a sudden, you could put on a weekend against these older guys. It has to affect you a little bit in the short term. And maybe he's got comfortable by now, a few starts under his belt in that role. But I think it affects you because, you're facing, if you're an 18, 19-year-old kid, you're facing 24-year-olds, which never happened 20 years ago.
Never happened, for sure. Todd, here's another one for you. And I played just a few years before you did. I played against Tookie. I can remember that very, very well down at Alex Box Stadium. That weekend didn't go great for us, I can tell you that. But, the bats, that's always something that college baseball has had to keep an eye on. And now you've got that contracted minor league system. College baseball is such a great product. But I see some reminders of back in the day where, it was really hard to evaluate pro prospects because the bats were so different than the wood. I think they've done a pretty good job the last 10 or 15 years, and it's a really fun thing to watch, college baseball, because of it. But I see some remnants now, and, not accusing anybody, but it seems like there's things being done to the bats a little bit. So how do you try to keep that and preserve that product that we all love?
I feel like it's level now, right? Because 2011 we started using the BB cores, and 11, 12, 13 there were no offense, right? Then in 15 they came up with what they called the tightly wound seamed baseball that had a little smaller seams. The pitchers had a tougher time gripping the seams and throwing off-speed pitches and curveballs with more bite. And so it made the offense a little better. And I think without really knowing, I think you're right, there's something a little tweaked with the bats as well. But I feel like, and I'm a hitter now, so I'm biased, but I feel like it's even now. It's pretty level. You don't go to TD Ameritrade or whatever the new thing is in Omaha now, the new sponsor, that ballpark at the College World Series, and have 2-1 ball games all the time with nobody being able to hit a home run, right? So now I feel like it's a little more level and even at this point.
All right, Todd, thanks a lot. We appreciate it. Hopefully the rain will clear and we'll get all the games in here. I'd love to see Vanderbilt take another crack at Tennessee, but let's hope we don't have to wait until like 10 or 11 o'clock at night to watch that game. But somehow I think might have to get a nap in this afternoon.
Well, I get a nap in every day, but I promise you that Vanderbilt's going to make a run. Watch them. I said it today, and I've been saying it all year. They're going to do something special. A lot of exciting games for them in the future.
All right, Todd. Thanks a lot. Todd Walker joining us from down in Hoover, Alabama, for the SEC tournament in a rain delay right now. A lot of games on the docket. Vanderbilt is scheduled to play Tennessee in the third game, but there's rain in the forecast on and off throughout the day, so we'll see about the start time.
We already know, Willie, the third game has already become the fourth game. So yesterday's fourth game is now today's first game.
Right.
So we're already a full day behind.
We're already
a full game behind.
Yeah, it's already funky. It's already funky. That's all I can tell you. All right, we're coming back with more of Darren, Donick, and Chase right after this.
This is Phil Tomasino, and this is Smashville.
Cousins put it in front of the score. Tomasino lofts it in. 2-0 Nashville.
This is the flagship of the Nashville Predators Radio Network, ESPN 1025 The Game.
Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, today, Wednesday, May 25th, we're doing something unprecedented. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy, clinically proven to open up and repair blood vessels. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, we're running a one-day offer that you're going to want to take advantage of. Call us now and you'll qualify for the assessment and ultrasound totally free. Also, a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. And today only, we're offering 3 tune-up treatments free, plus 20% off. This ensures that if you notice results fading in the future, we'll retreat you free of charge. It's worth $1,000, but call today, Wednesday, May 25th, and qualify totally free. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now to qualify for this never-before-offered special. It ends today. 615-576-5000.
Harness LLC needs 5 foremen to join our team. Go to selectharness.com now if you're a foreman with 3 years experience in excavation. Invest in a company who's going to invest in you. Selectharness.com. Harness LLC. Build people, move dirt.
If you've been thinking about remodeling your home's kitchen or bath, contact the countertop experts at Smoky Mountain Tops. Willie Donick here, and I'm proud to tell you about my longtime friends. We installed Smoky Mountain Tops surfacing in our kitchen years ago, and it's remained durable and super easy to clean up. Smoky Mountain Tops is proud to offer the new prestigious Vidara Quartz for your kitchen or bath countertops. Check out the stunning new Vidara Quartz shown at Smoky Mountain Tops Studio. Contact the pros at Smoky Mountain Tops. Quality, service, and dedication. SmokyMountainTops.com.
Nashville Sounds baseball season is underway, and if you haven't been to Third and Home on game day, you're missing out. Third and Home is the newest sports bar in Germantown that overlooks the Nashville Sounds ballpark. From the bar's spacious beer patio, you can literally see the whole Sounds game as if you were sitting in the seats with a ticket. No wonder it's known as Germantown's bar with a ballpark. Head to 3rd Avenue North and check it out for lunch, a night of brews, or to catch a game. Third and Home is open Tuesday through Sunday, and you can even watch batting practice on the patio. For more, visit thirdandhome.com.
We buy any car. We buy any car. We buy any car. Any. We buy any car. Any make, any model, any age, any price from $50 to $100,000. We buy any car. We buy any car. Any. We buy any car. Sell your car the easy way. Go online and sell it today. We buy any car. Any. Find out how much your car's worth at We Buy Any Car.
Educators, are you looking for a free opportunity to explore problem-solving, career connections, and innovation? Take a journey with Computer Science Momentum Expedition, June 27th through the 29th at Nissan Stadium. Details for each day at tsin.org. Join the voyage.
Robbie and Rex Road here on ESPN.
Welcome into the DDC.
Stone Company is delivered. There's a new way to hear 102.5 The Game. Nashville's best sports talk on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24. You now have 2 choices to hear our great sports programming.
Get the extra point, no problem.
And the Nashville Predators.
Scores!
Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Hey, this is Matthias Ekholm. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Thank you, Matthias. Don't forget, this is your racing station. Vroom, vroom. ESPN 102.5 The Game and 106.3. Doubleheader this Sunday. Remember, we had Joseph Newgards on yesterday talking about the Indianapolis 500. Coverage from the Brickyard will start at 10 o'clock on Sunday. Following that, it'll be NASCAR, the Coca-Cola 600 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. So lots of racing Sunday here on these airwaves. Also, Chasing Checkers will get everything started Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. He'll go vroom, vroom a lot. Chase will do that. All of our coverage presented by Nashville Super Speedway, Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, and Collision Repair.
It's better than your truck impression.
Yeah, better than Monster Jam.
Yeah.
Please.
Sound like your nose is stopped up and you try to clear it.
Oh, well, good. That's because it is. So I'm glad it sounds like that. Awesome.
Yes.
Thanks for sharing.
Good job, Derek.
I mean, Derek brought it up. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do about it? Todd Walker seemed to be pretty hell-bent on Vanderbilt. He kept going there over and over and over again.
I'm not sure.
I'm not either. I was a little surprised by that. Maybe play into the crowd. I don't know. Play into the market.
It was look. They played very well last night. The guy that's really come on is Carter Holton, the freshman. He is really strung together now. 3, 4, 5 straight dominant performances. He shut him out for 6 innings last night. The only issue with him is he's got a lot of pitches, and he tends to get the pitch count up after 6 or 7 innings. So he's probably not going to go 9. But look, you take 6 scoreless, and they got very good relief. Christian Little, and this was deep into the night, who
was
big. He really struggled against LSU. He got the start in Game 2 and just didn't have it. He was all over the place, walked a bunch of guys, gave up a couple of home runs, and he was out of there. Looked like a totally different guy last night. Just completely dominated the last 2 innings in a tight game. So that was a good sign. Now you look ahead. Who's going to get Tennessee out? They're going to have to come up big on the mound tonight. Max, have they even announced a starter?
I was about to ask you the same thing, but I think it has to be Devin Futrell.
And that's another really interesting case of a freshman right out of high school. He's dominated the midweek games. He's had some success against the SEC, but he hasn't pitched a whole lot against the league, and he certainly has not gone up against a lineup like Tennessee. So he's gonna have to be at his absolute best. Now, this is a guy that's going to be a pro prospect. There's no question. He's one of those guys. He's a top-level recruit. He's got all the tools, but he's really young.
I don't know how they're going to fit all this in because I'm seeing that Tom Hart, Peter Burns, all them literally just now tweeting out, Kentucky, Auburn, first pitch will be 12:45. So that's almost 2 hours behind schedule.
Well, Willie, you'll have another late night, buddy. Get yourself a nap.
I know. But if it does happen, I think everybody will be curious. A, can Tennessee sustain the dominance that they've had all year? Because as Todd said, baseball is a funny game. You can have domination and then one bad weekend and your season's over, like Arkansas last year. Now this is just gravy for Tennessee. They could lose 2 in a row, and they're still going to be probably the number 1 seed in the country. But also, how does Vanderbilt look better? Have they improved since Tennessee came in early in the season to Nashville and beat them 3 straight times pretty handily?
What?
Like they've been trying to earn. They've earned another chance at him.
I felt
here.
so, and then this weekend happened. I was like, oh, okay.
I think the top of the order, Bradfield is coming around to be the dominating player that he can be. He is the most entertaining guy to watch in college baseball. You've got 2 elite hitters in Spencer Jones, who's becoming a real interesting pro prospect. And they've got a good lineup. The bottom of the lineup has, for a number of different reasons, not been as strong as I thought it would be. But there's just a lot of question marks in the pitching. Can you get the kind of pitching you're going to need to beat a Tennessee? If they can, that's great. If not, they'll probably be a 2 seed, and they'll go on the road somewhere and have a chance to try to do some damage that way. I mean, they're a really good team. They're being held to the standard of the last 5 to 8 Vanderbilt teams that you're thinking should dominate, right? They just haven't dominated in the SEC. They played the toughest schedule in the nation. For example, you don't just say it's in the SEC, but who did you play in the SEC? Well, the teams in the West, they played the absolute best teams in the West. They didn't play the 3 bottom feeders in the West. So they got in the mix of who do you play in a 14-team league, they had probably the most difficult mix you could have. And that's why their RPI is really, really high, even though their ranking's not as high.
Nate on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, says, how long will the SEC allow rain delays to last?
I've seen them play well into 2 o'clock in the morning. Last night was not the record by any stretch.
Nope. I don't know if there's a hard, fast rule. I don't know when the sun comes up, you have to call it. I don't know. I'm obviously kidding. I don't know. They've gone to the wee hours of the night / morning. So I don't know.
I have thought
if there's
this.
a hard, fast rule. I don't know.
Is it time, and I think all the leagues probably could consider this, but
for a retractable roof in Hoover, yes.
No,
yes,
not a retractable roof, but
it is time.
You could have a second field that you could play on, like Williamsport.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like there's a full complex, and Darren, someday you may go down there with some youngsters to play there, but there's a full complex literally at the bottom of the hill. Really, really nice fields. Now, you couldn't have crowds. That would be a problem. But in an emergency situation, if you needed to play 2 games at the same time to catch up, that would be easy to do. But they've never gone down that road.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
It's
by
an
the way, you have
interesting
another
thought.
AA park right in Birmingham.
Right.
I don't,
Yep.
I don't know how that coincides with the minor league schedule, but that would be something else to think about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they're going to cram all this in. I'm not sure. I haven't really looked at the forecast today. I know last night.
It's bad. It's not good.
No.
There's rain all day, on and off, 50%, 70%, depending on what hour you're looking at. It's all day. There's a threat.
I didn't know it was supposed to rain last night, and, I don't know, somewhere around dinner time. I mean, it was coming down sideways last night, so.
It was bad.
Yeah, it was really bad. Didn't last very long, but, man, when it was here, it was bad. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see if they can cram all this in there. But like I said, it looks like Kentucky-Auburn will be first pitch today at 12:45 to get the action started in Hoover. So that's almost 2 hours behind schedule to kick off the day. We'll come back, wrap up the first hour. We've also got, again, some Monster Jam tickets to give away. Yeah, we're going to do that today before we get out of here. Adam Vingan will kick off the second hour. We'll talk some Preds and hockey with Adam coming up at 11 o'clock. Teresa Walker will talk about yesterday's OTAs. That'll be at high noon. More DDC next.
At some point, it's a combination of who did you play and what does your skill set look like.
Get the best analysis of the big stories in the sports world with ESPN's Jason Fitz.
If you reach for a quarterback in the draft because you need one, you're going to set your franchise back 5 years.
Join Fitzy every Wednesday at 4:30. Presented by Blood Assurance. Jason Fitz.
I am 5'9.5"
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red weather alert.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Storms picking back up again late morning for the afternoon into the evening, some of which could be strong to severe. Main threat will be for wind.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hey, Robbie Stanley here to tell you the NBA playoffs are heating up, and you can make every game feel like Game 7 on FanDuel Sportsbook, an official partner of the NBA. Throughout the playoffs, all customers can place a no-sweat same-game parlay each week. You'll get up to $20 in free bets if you don't win. FanDuel has so many different ways to play, and best of all, when you do win, you'll get paid faster than a fast break. I've told you about my Miami Heat. I think they take down the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Final. Give me Bam Adebayo over on points as well, but you take it any way you want to take it. If you're new to FanDuel, just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app, sign up with promo code ROB to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Once again, that promo code is ROB. And if you already have an account, you're all set to bet. Either way, you get up to $20 in free bets if your same-game parlay during the playoffs doesn't win. FanDuel Sportsbook, an official partner of the NBA. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Refund issued is non-withdrawable free bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max free bet of $20 per week. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
The Gallatin Hotel is a vibrant and charming boutique hotel tucked into East Nashville and was voted the #1 boutique hotel in East Nashville by TripAdvisor. Not only is the Gallatin unique by design, but they also give away the majority of their profits to those who need it most and provides beds, food, and supplies to Nashville's underserved communities and those experiencing homelessness. Just one more reason to love your stay at the Gallatin. Visit thegallatinhotel.com to book your stay now. The Gallatin Hotel. It's good vibes only.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway. Now here's Jim Mitchell.
Our fleet vehicle program is a great benefit to all the fleet companies in Nashville. We are able to get their vehicle back on the road a lot quicker than the downtime of most dealers and most general repair shops, simply because we have the transmissions available. We're able to put priority on their vehicles to get them back on the road quickly.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway. Big Machine Music City Grand Prix is hosting Indy 500 watch parties across all Jonathan's Grill Middle Tennessee locations. Come join your fellow IndyCar fans for Sunday's Indianapolis 500. 102.5 The Game will be at the Jonathan's Grill in Mount Juliet, and you can enjoy great specials on Michelob Ultra and Bud Light Seltzer. Patrons visiting any Jonathan's location will be eligible to enter the grand prize drawing for a VIP experience at the August 5th through 7th Big Machine Music City Grand Prix.
Robbie Stanley.
They get a lead in that game and just totally close the door.
Joe Rexrode.
If he plays next year, it's disastrous.
Robbie and Rexrode. Mornings from 6 to 10 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to the DDC.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On ESPN 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Talk a little hockey here coming up at 11 o'clock. Back here on the DDC. It's with heavy hearts. We all learned of the news in South Texas, an elementary school. Sometimes you can't even wrap your head around news like that. Robb Elementary, 19 children killed, 2 adults. Just a horrific, horrific scene at an elementary school. I believe it's, outside of San Antonio in Texas, but just an awful, awful scene. I believe the gunman who was gunned down was 18 years old. I don't know how we get to this place. I don't know how these things happen. But obviously, when you hear second graders, third graders, fourth graders, and you know that you've got a kid in the house who just wrapped up fourth grade, should be in school today, but was unable to go because of his illness. This is the last day of school. I mean, you can't even imagine what that area is going through, what those families are going through. And it's, their lives are forever changed. And not for the good, nothing for the good, all for the bad. It'll be horrific. And probably some will never recover from yesterday. It's just awful. So our thoughts and prayers are with the folks down there in Texas. What is it? Uvalde? Is that Uvalde? I don't know exactly how you say the city, but it was Robb Elementary. Like I said, I think it's a suburb of San Antonio, but just an awful, awful story and an awful thing to try to wrap your brain around.
No words. No words. Words can't describe. I watched a lot of the coverage yesterday. Frustrating. Look, Steve Kerr went on a really emotional rant as he's been very consistent for a long time. We got to take action. I know the answer is not easy, but put me with the 90%.
Well, I mean, listen, you know the answer. Everybody knows the answer, but nobody wants to take action to make those things a reality. So, I watched it for some time, but I wasn't going to consume myself with such a horrific act, because I know a lot of people are going to come out, whichever side you fall on in the middle. This need to change, that need to change. But hell, ain't none of it changed.
Yeah. Sandy Hook was 10 years ago.
Exactly. So why, get on, I've seen them all. Emotional pleas, whatever. It doesn't mean a damn thing. It doesn't, obviously. So for me, I watched it. It was horrific. It was evil. But I'm not going to consume myself with it, because the people that should consume themselves with it don't, because nothing changes.
That's what saddens
me.
So,
I mean, how can you say those things, watch those families go through what they're going through, and then nothing changes, and you go on with your life, and then it happens again, and it's just rinse, repeat. Rinse, repeat. That's all it is. I'm not talking about I'm talking about the people that can make the changes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just say the same old things, get everybody in uproar, and then eventually, unfortunately, it fades away until the next act.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I don't understand. I don't understand it. I really don't. I don't understand it.
I liked what Steve Kerr said when he said we can't get numb to it. I do remember when Columbine happened. That was the first one I can remember of its kind, and it stopped everything. The whole country stopped. We talked about it, but it's happened so many times since then in different forms. And I that's what I am afraid of is
I don't think the people
to a degree.
I don't think the average citizen has gotten numb to it. I think those that can make the changes, they've gotten numb to it.
And I don't get that.
And exactly, I don't get it. Until it hits your porch and is at your front door, then that's how it is. Until it hits your door, that's when you want to make a change. That's when you want to stand up. That's when those that sit back, they don't say anything until they hit their front door, until they are impacted by it in such a way that they're going to remember it forever. When you lose a child unexpectedly, that crap hurts. It hurts for a long time.
It hurts forever. They'll never get.
My mom and dad went through it to the day they died.
Yeah.
When we lost our sister, when I lost my sister, they never got over it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These lives are impacted forever. They'll never get past this, and we all would be in the same boat. It's horrific. I mean, yesterday is going to change 21 families, 21 circles of friends and families and colleagues forever. They'll never get past it, and it's a senseless act. I don't look. Anytime someone, loses their life in this fashion, whether it's an adult, a child, a teenager, whatever your age, look, it doesn't. It's all the same, but I don't think I'll ever understand who could go into an elementary school. I don't know what state of mind you would possibly have to be in to literally do that to an elementary school. These are innocent kids. I mean, kids. I will never, ever. I mean, I know we're not supposed to understand it, but gosh, and again, it doesn't make it, any less anymore if it was a church or whatever, and it's adults or a mall. The movie theaters, right? We've seen all this stuff in the past. We've gone through all these mass shootings, and it's should all feel the same. But I've got to be, for me, if I'm just being honest, having someone in the house that's in fourth grade and in elementary, and is around elementary schools all the time. Like, I just could not imagine how you would ever get to the point, and why. What would even be these are innocent kids. I mean, but anyway, again, there are no explanations for this, but it's horrible. It's just horrible, because those people, they'll never get past this, and none of us would. We would all be impacted the same. So our thoughts are with them. It's going to be really, really rough in that area for a long, long time. And I don't have the answers, but gosh, I wish we could do something. I wish we could stop having these horrific stories happen. You know? But
you can never eliminate to 0% a chance that something like that would happen, but you can take measures to lower the chances and decrease these over time.
You can be proactive and do things that kind of deter.
Yes, it decrease the possibilities, the probabilities. You can't make it 0, but we can decrease. There are things, sensible things that can be done.
Just wanted to pass that along. I wanted us to at least say that we are thinking about those folks, and we'll be thinking about them, praying for them, because they've got a tough road ahead for sure. We'll come back. We'll talk to Adam Vingan from The Athletic to begin the second hour. We do that next.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
So many times guests come in with pictures from Instagram, Pinterest, and Facebook and are amazed that we have those rings in stock.
David Cooper, Vice President at Genesis Diamonds, talking about how Genesis stays on the cutting edge.
We pride ourselves of staying ahead of the curve of fashion and seeking what's new, what's hot all over the world, what's hot all over the internet, and having that in stock for you, where other stores are still chasing styles that were cool maybe 5 or 10 years ago.
Why settle for an outdated style or a stale design? Make the switch to Genesis and get the ring of her dreams with over 4,000 cutting-edge choices from the top bridal designers in the world.
We have the designer looks that you see everywhere in stock in a variety of metals, a variety of sizes and shapes, and a variety of budgets, so every customer can have exactly what they want.
Genesis Diamonds and pre-owned Rolexes.
We are so honored and proud that so many people have made the switch to Genesis Diamonds and not only told their friends about Genesis, but have brought their friends to Genesis.
Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Your speaker at home is so smart that even Alexa knows where to find Nashville's best sports talk.
102.5 The Game is Nashville's best sports talk.
Ask Alexa to enable 102.5 The Game. Once enabled, ask Alexa to play 102.5 The Game.
Welcome to 102.5 The Game.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
The Ainsworth Nashville has been bringing a sophisticated twist to the classic All-American sports bar, restaurant, and private event experience in Midtown since 2018. Our multi-purpose venue consists of a full-scale restaurant, bar and lounge, and event space. Come for the wings, stay for our happy hour, and visit us for brunch on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We've got the good times to keep you singing all night long. The Ainsworth Nashville. Burgers, cocktails, sports.
Visit the Ainsworth at 206 21st Avenue South in Nashville or online at theainsworth.com.
Your Nashville's best deal of the week is Nashville B-Cycle, Music City's station-based bike share system since 2013, with over 177 pedal assist electric bikes available from over 20 stations, from Sylvan Park to East Nashville and everywhere in between. Nashville B-Cycle is a fun and sustainable way to get around. And now get half off a monthly pass where you can enjoy unlimited 60-minute rides for 30 days. Get yours at theGameNashville.com/deals.
Hey Nashville, it's Chase McKay, Program Director of ESPN 102.5 The Game, and there's a new way that you can hear Nashville's best sports talk. It's on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24, you now have two choices to hear our great sports talk programming, and, of course, the Nashville Predators. Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
It's the perfect season for a powerful business upgrade with Dell Technologies Summer Sale Event. Save up to 45% on secure PCs built for business with Windows 10 Pro. You'll also find great savings on Dell servers, monitors, docks, and other accessories to help boost productivity. Plus, enjoy free shipping on everything. Do more with modern devices and Windows 10 Pro. Call 877-ASK-DELL for a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find the right tech. That's 877-ASK-DELL for business specials during Dell's Summer Sale Event.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUZ HD2 Laverne, broadcasting 97.5 Murfreesboro, 106.3 Williamson County,
ESPN
102.5 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell media station.
informative conversation while you work. This is the DEC. Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Second hour here on this Wednesday. Hope everybody's having a good day thus far. Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, Derek Mason with you. Adam Finken from The Athletic with us. He now joins us. Yesterday on the show, Adam, D-Mace put it at 4% return. I put it at 60% return. Villy put it at a 66% return.
66.666.
Well, that's kind
which
of
is
a
really
weird number.
67.
That's a weird number.
Weird number.
Yeah,
Two-thirds. Two-thirds is the percent.
Yeah,
That's
66.
Two-thirds.
Two-thirds.
Yeah.
Why can't it say 66.7?
Somebody bless Willie. There's too many
Let me throw
sixes
some
in
water
there.
on you, Willie.
Somebody bless him. So let's just go with 66. It's
yes.
getting a little weird with all these extra sixes. Billy, I don't know
Throw a
what's
7
going
in
on.
there, Billy.
You're watching
66.6667.
Yeah, okay. Let's again.
Too many sixes.
Bless him. And Greg Wyshynski put it at 70% return, Philip Forsberg. Adam, what's your percentage?
Willie seems like one of those guys that knows pi out to the 50th digit.
I know pi too. It's just a different.
Okay, how
pie.
many do you know?
Yeah.
3.
I know chocolate pie.
3.14.
159. I think are the next three. The other after that I don't know. So I know it out
That's
to 6.
like 3 more than I know. So. But you seem like one of those guys that would, as a party trick, it's like, I know pi out to 20 places. Okay, so let's recap. So I didn't hear what Derek's percentage was. What was Derek?
40.
Mine was 40.
Derek said 40. Darren said 60.
Yep.
Willie said 2/3.
2/3.
and
Wyshynski
and
said
Greg
70.
And Greg said 70. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I'd probably lean towards somewhere in between Darren and Willie.
Oh,
so
in between.
I'll say like 65%.
65.
Ooh.
How did
So
you arrive at 65%?
He's playing the Price is Right game.
Yeah.
He's trying to get to the Showcase Showdown.
He is, but he's got you bidding just one higher.
Exactly.
With some sixes.
$1.
That's what you should have done. That's the percentage play.
Yeah, you should have done 1%.
Yeah.
Or 41%. That would give you a good window there.
Yeah.
So I'll say 65%.
Has that gone up or down since the season ended?
I think it stayed neutral.
Okay.
I don't think it's gone one way or another. I just listened to David Poyle talk about the negotiations, and, he seems confident that it's going to get done. Now, I know that just because he says that doesn't mean it's going to happen. Now, I know that a lot of people will draw the conclusion, draw a line between Philip Forsberg and the Ryan Suter saga. Now, I was not here for that, so Willie and Darren will have to help me out here. I don't remember David Poyle being as openly confident about re-signing Ryan Suter as he was with Philip Forsberg. Is that
I think that's accurate.
Yeah,
that's fairly accurate. He was a little more cautious, but the biggest difference was that there was no limit on what you could offer a person under the cap. And that's when the wacky 13 to 15-year deals were sort of the in thing.
Right.
And that was the wild card. Now it's much more strict on what you can offer. So I
will
think
say
that
though,
works in the Predators' favor.
I'm going to differ with Willie a little bit because he knows we talked about this a ton back then. I think David was bought in just as much, if not more, than Philip Forsberg. And I think he got duped a little. I do. Because we were not We were not. We were saying. I know. I mean, go back and I don't know if we have the audio anymore. It's probably a lightning strike or something that's not around anymore. But we were like, the vibe I get being around Ryan is he's gone. That's the. I know. Yeah. I said that. Willie,
he was more confident than most.
He was more confident than us.
And so he probably the word that was used a lot. He was not. He didn't read the tea leaves as he probably should have back then.
Now, do you get the vibe based on what we've heard from Phillip that it's a similar situation, or do you feel more confident in hearing what Phillip has had to say than what Ryan had to say 10 years ago?
It's a great question because the vibe was just literally being around him, like watching him. Just me was my observations, and as you know, Adam, the last couple of years we haven't really been able to be around players, so it's hard for me to answer that because I was truly going off the vibe of talking to people and literally watching him and having conversations. Like I wouldn't go down that road, but I would watch that conversation come up and I would watch his body language, and it was never a good feeling for me. But I can't say that for Forsberg because I haven't been around him or in the same situations as the Ryan Suter stuff.
Yeah. So, I think that I think that ultimately it will get done. Now, will it be at a price that David Poile likes? Probably not. The Evolving Hockey website has a great contract projection tool. Now, I wish I could explain exactly how it works. I believe it mines data from Cap Friendly and uses comparable players and all of that. So it's hard. I need to go back and look at exactly how they compute these projections, but they are fairly accurate. And according to Evolving Hockey, if Phillip Forsberg stays with the Predators, it projects that he will receive an 8-year contract with an annual cap hit of around 8.5. Now, to me, that sounds fairly reasonable, but I'm skeptical that it will come in at under $9 million. And that also, by the way, those contract projections do not take into account, trade protection clauses and the like. So, that would be something else that would come up over the course of these conversations. So go ahead, Darren.
I was going to say, well, that's so interesting, Adam, because you know this. I mean, I feel like I don't want to say all because that's suggesting that everybody feels that way, but we've talked about this so much. Even Greg Wyshynski yesterday said 8.5. I feel like we all, even though I know it's not everyone, we keep coming to that number. And what I don't understand is if everybody feels like that is the comfortable number, that's the right number for both sides, then why are we still talking about this? And what truly is the hang-up? Which side is it that doesn't feel comfortable with that number? Well, which side behind the scenes doesn't feel comfortable with that number? Because I feel like all of us feel like that is the number. Well, clearly behind the scenes, somebody doesn't feel the same way.
Yeah, it's a good question, and as for as much as we've talked about it, like you said, I think we all assumed maybe that it would have been done by now. Like if you would have asked me on October 1st if this contract would still not be done, closing in on Memorial Day, I probably would have said probably by then it will be done. But the fact that it's not, clearly what the hang up is, I'm not exactly sure. But, to me, I think one way or another, Phillip Forsberg, and I think we can all agree on this, that he's going to be if he resigns, he's going to be the highest paid forward on the team. He's going to make more than Matt Duchene. He's going to make more than Ryan Johansson. I wonder, I think Elliot Freeman and Jeff Marek have talked about this on their 32 Thoughts podcast, and I know it's sort of bled into conversations that we've had on this show and others about whether or not there is a ceiling, so to speak, in terms of how much money the Predators are willing to give Phillip Forsberg, in the sense that they are not going to pay him more than Roman Josi. I mean, there are certain players on certain teams that they are the ceiling, that you can make as much as this, but you're not making more than that guy. I wonder if I wonder if maybe that's a hang-up, that maybe the Forsberg camp wants more than what Roman Josi is getting paid. And the Predators are like, no, he's our captain. He's our Norris Trophy winner. He's our Ted Lindsay finalist. You're not making as much as Roman Josi. I mean, this is completely hypothetical, but I wonder if that might have something to do with it.
Now, Adam, if that does have a bit to do with it, and say if, the Predators choose to pay him, the 9, what is he making? 9.
Josi is 9.059.
Yeah. So what if they say, well, we're going to pay you $9 million, not 9.025 or whatever. We're just going to pay you $9 million. You're the highest paid forward. Do you think that's a good contract based upon his projected numbers? Because he's not getting younger. He's getting older. And you still have this looming, is he going to be healthy? On average, the last 10 years, this is a 22, 24, and 46 guy. That doesn't warrant $9 million moving forward, because he's only getting older. So if you do give him the 9 or the 8.5, is that a good deal for the Predators?
By the way, 8.5 still makes him the highest paid forward.
Exactly. And is that a good deal for the Predators?
Yeah, it's a good question, because oftentimes what happens in these contract negotiations is that teams tend to pay players for things they have done versus what they might do. And Philip had a fantastic season. There's no doubt about that. But, are you confident that he will be able to replicate this? I think it would be unfair to say he's got to replicate it for the entire contract, because by the time it would be over, if it's 8 years, he'd be in his late 30s. I feel like if you can get, a similar production from Philip that you did this season for the first half of the deal, 4 out of the 8 years, I think you could live with that. It's pretty amazing to look at the players in the league, the forwards in the league that make at least $9 million. There were 19 forwards. I'm just looking at this now. 19 forwards in the NHL who have a cap hit of at least $9 million this season. And when you look at those players versus Philip Forsberg, a lot of the players that are on this list you would probably say are better than Philip Forsberg. I mean, the list is topped by Connor McDavid, Artemi Panarin, Austin Matthews, John Tavares, Mitch Marner. You've got Taves and Kane in there who are older, Mark Stone, Alex Ovechkin. I think, is Forsberg in that class? Probably not. But again, some of those forwards have had these contracts for a long time, so they've gotten older. But even then, would I consider Philip Forsberg one of the top 20 forwards in the NHL? No. But, look, I give Philip full marks for the way he handled this, because he played it perfectly. He came into camp. He said he was going to play out his contract. He bet on himself. He had a fantastic season, and he has set himself up for a big payday. He could have gone the Matthias Ekholm route. Now, Ekholm is in a different stage of his career, but Ekholm, as you recall, the Predators, Ekholm and his agent basically set a deadline and said that if this contract is not done by the first day of the season, we're not negotiating during the season. And they got it done like the day before the season started. Philip could have done that. And, he probably would be kicking himself right now, because if he had the same season he had now. So he's played this perfectly. I give Philip full marks for that. But I do think that if they re-sign him, this contract's going to hurt. And you can argue does it run counter to what they want to do in terms of getting younger and staying competitive? I certainly have my issues with that approach, but I think I honestly think that we are all going to look at this contract if and when it gets done, and I think we're all going to look at it and go, ugh, like that's not going to age well. I mean, that's kind of how I feel this thing is going.
I'll just remind everybody the math without going to decimal places. 8 times 8 is $64 million. 7 times 9 is $63 million. So, again, I think that's where the rub is. Is somebody going to offer him $9 or $9.5 million on the open market for 7 years? Because
no, to your point, Willie, the evolving hockey projection, if he leaves Nashville and signs with another team, is a 7-year deal with a cap hit of around 9.5.
Okay, so to beat 9.5, the Predators have to go to somewhere between 8 and 8.5. They don't even have to get to 8.5 to beat 9.5. And to me, if you're going 9.5, that's an extreme offer, as you mentioned, compared to Braden Point and Austin Matthews and the players that make that kind of money. So let's not go. Let's leave that aside for now. One more thing for you, Adam. There's a number of restricted free agents on teams that are going to have some cap issues. Do you think we're going to see some offer sheets this summer, even though it has not been in vogue, it has not been effective for teams trying to sign players to offer sheets? I'm wondering if this year might be different.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. So far, the only teams that have gotten in on the fun in recent years are Carolina and Montreal. And I would like to see more of that. I think the Predators should really think about it. I was actually looking back at the history of David Poile, as Pretzel wants to get involved in the conversation.
He wants to tell you how many decimal places he knows of pi.
Yeah, probably more than me. And I'm looking at I was looking at David Poile's history of offer sheets. Now, we know he's been on the receiving end of the Shea Weber offer sheet, and he was on the receiving end of the Scott Stevens offer sheet in Washington. The only time I can recall that I could find of David Poile actually tendering an offer sheet was back in 1992 when he tendered an offer sheet to Dave Manson, who I believe was playing for the Edmonton Oilers at the time. And I believe the Oilers matched that offer sheet. So it's not something that David Poile has been known to do. But when you look at the class of restricted free agents this year, it's pretty incredible. Patrick Laine. I'm just listing players. I know that it's unlikely that some of these players end up reaching the open market. Actually, I'm looking at last year's list because there were some players on there that have been signed. So let me update it to this year's list. Patrick Laine, Matthew Tkachuk. Kevin Fiala is a really interesting one. It would be all sorts of hilarious if the Predators tendered an offer sheet to Kevin Fiala. I can't imagine that happening. But, Kevin Fiala, look at Minnesota. Like, I don't know who their other restricted free agents are, if they have any other notable ones. But, that is a team that is ripe for an offer sheet, because of the buyouts for Ryan Suter and Zach Parise. They have very limited cap space next season. And Kevin Fiala, as we all know, had a fabulous season. The Wild took the very rare step of taking him to arbitration last summer. Most of the time players take teams to arbitration. This time the Wild took him to arbitration. They got a 1-year deal. Kevin played really well, but he's probably not going to be back next year. All signs point to that, according to my colleague Michael Russo in Minnesota. So do the Wild try to trade him? Does the team try to swoop in with an offer sheet? I think the Predators should consider it. Like, for example, the Predators, we know they're trying to get younger and they want to stay competitive. So I understand that offer sheets, require draft capital. So you're going to have, if you give an offer sheet and it's not matched, then you have to give up, draft picks in order to get that player. Wouldn't it be, hypothetically, more along the Predators' goals to sign Patrick Laine, who's 24, than Claude Giroux, who's 34? I mean, it makes a lot more sense on paper. Now, it's a lot more complicated than that. But to me, I think the Predators should consider it. There are some really interesting names out there. Will they do it? I don't know. But I think they strongly should consider it if they are trying to remain competitive and get younger. Restricted free agents, by definition, are younger. So I do think it's something that they should look into.
Adam, good stuff. As always, we'll let you get back to Pretzel and the baby. Thanks for doing this. We'll talk down the road.
All right. I'll let you know when Arlo can say 5 to 10 decimal places of pi.
Do you think that's soon, or do you think that's going to be a while?
The only pie he's going to know soon is pecan pie.
Pecan pie. And I feel like the abacus is going to come in there pretty soon.
Thank you, Adam. Adam Vinkin from The Athletic. We'll come back, continue the discussion on the other side here on the DDC ESPN 102.5 The Game.
If you're on the road between downtown Nashville,
They're still in good shape to make the playoffs.
and I-840,
Players make it clear they don't want to be somewhere anymore.
there's a new way to hear all your favorite shows and sports programming on 102.5 The Game.
I go back to that play and I shake my head. What I was worried about is that they were still just going to keep the goal.
It's 106.3 FM.
Think about all the good Titans teams. This is very much so a run-first offense.
Now you have two choices to hear Nashville's best sports talk. Check out 106.3 now and add it as a favorite.
From elegant to contemporary, Social Furniture has it all. And right now, get no interest financing on any purchase through Memorial Day. Save hundreds, even thousands on top brand name bedroom suites, living room and dining sets. Thousands of combinations in stock, ready for immediate delivery. All colors and styles are designer brand names, such as Woodhouse, Sealy, Serta, Kincaid, Bernhardt, Stearns & Foster, and Bassett. Shop local, shop social. Social Furniture opens 7 days a week on the west side on Charlotte Avenue in the Richland Creek Shopping Center.
You purchased a fine European automobile because of the amazing drivability and great looks. Then someone slid into you during a rainstorm. European Collision Repair is Nashville's premier location for collision repairs. Their state-of-the-art facility is certified by 30 vehicle manufacturers. The best part is their customer service, and they can provide an estimate simply by you sending in a photo of your damage. If you have a fine European automobile, have the repairs done at European Collision Repair. Go to EuropeanCollisionRepair.com.
Trying to find a new home right now is next to impossible. Very little inventory, prices are crazy high, rates are moving up. Here's a better idea. Let my friends at Loan Pronto refinance your current home, turn all that equity you have into cash, and totally transform your house. A new kitchen, new bathroom, a pool. Think about it. Your home value is up. Instead of wasting all that on an overpriced new house, convert that equity into cash for a home makeover. One local couple did it and got $200,000 out. They added new hardwoods, an outdoor living space, a swimming pool with spa and all new cabinets and appliances, plus a home office. Now they have their dream home, and they never had to move. Call Loan Pronto. Ask about their home improvement refi. Give your home a total makeover and do it now. You can even skip your next house payment in the process. Call now, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval.
Curation CBD is a local family-owned business started and grown right here in Middle Tennessee. Curation's mission is to provide the community with locally and organically sourced CBD products for everyday use. Curation means healing, and their CBD products will do just that. Curation CBD is a certified Tennessee product and is available at the Painted Tree in Franklin. Or visit them online and order now on their website at curationcompany.com. Use promo code DDC25 at checkout for 25% off Curation CBD. Curation, CBD products curated for life.
Hey Nashville, it's Chase McKay, Program Director of ESPN 102.5 The Game, and there's a new way that you can hear Nashville's best sports talk. It's on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24, you now have two choices to hear our great sports talk programming. And, of course, the Nashville Predators. Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Listen to Stillman & Company with me, Caroline Fenton, all season long on ESPN 102.5 The Game for your chance to win Nashville Sounds tickets courtesy of 312 Pizza Company in Germantown.
We want to hear from you.
Thanks for taking the call.
Join the conversation. Call or text at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. You're listening to the DDC.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On ESPN 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Apparently the suit just keeps sending racing promos to us. So here goes. This Sunday, Big Machine Music City Grand Prix, the Indy 500 watch party. That'll be at Jonathan's Grill in Mount Juliet from 11 until 3 p.m. You can enter to win a VIP experience at the Big Machine Music City Grand Prix. That includes tickets, paddock passes, and official pace car ride. Ooh, that sounds fun. Plus, you can enjoy 2-for-1 specials on draft and bottled beer. This Sunday, Jonathan's in Mount Juliet from 11 to 3. Vroom, vroom. Oh, that's the monster truck. Never mind. That's a different noise. I wonder if the suit will be there.
At the monster truck?
No, at Mount Juliet, Jonathan's, Vroom, vroom. The watch party.
He might.
Doesn't say that. I'm just wondering.
Well, you never know with the suit, man. Especially if it has to do with race car,
I know.
NASCAR, Indy, whatever. You never
he
know.
He wouldn't fit in the pace car, I don't think.
The promo, though, Darren, did read that you had to make the monster truck noise?
It did. I was just reading straight from the teleprompter.
Good obedience, Mr. Burgundy.
Yeah. It says monster truck noise.
Ron Burgundy?
I'm Ron Burgundy.
Question.
So, what did we make? Adam said 65. That was obviously he didn't watch much Price is Right. Like that's not how you win this game.
Nah, he ain't gonna
65%. That's
well, but
not.
he honestly answered the question. He didn't strategize to win on the Price is Right, but so he just falls in line with me.
Okay, we'll just be a party
within
pooper.
two percentage points of me.
But do y'all believe what he said at the end, that if this deal gets done here in Nashville, that we're gonna look at it and be like, oh, like this is not gonna age well?
It's a double-edged sword. I think every team that signs a player who is generally the age of Philip Forsberg, unrestricted at age 27 or 28, that's usually, depending on when you come into the league, that's usually when you hit.
Not every player, I think.
No, not every player.
Yeah.
Because some guys sign what's called a bridge, what they refer to as a bridge deal, where they buy a couple years of your unrestricted free agency, which can be a smart move. That's how Colorado approached it with Nathan McKinnon. So he's on a bridge deal right now. So he comes up. I think he's got one more year under his current deal, and then he's going to get a massive raise. Same thing. Austin Matthews is in a bridge deal right now, making over $10 million a year. But if it goes the way Philip Forsberg's does, you hit unrestricted free agency around 27, 28. Everybody who signs an 8-year deal there, you are basically saying, look, I want as many years of this guy's prime as he has left. I'll deal with the last 2, 3, whatever, where he's clearly just not going to be the same. Nobody is the same player at 34, 35, 36. As they are when they're 27, 28, 29. And that's the trade-off.
Except Tom Brady.
Right. Except, I mean, there are a few exceptions.
There are a few exceptions,
There are a few.
yes.
Like Evgeny Malkin and Sidney Crosby are still really good players. Now, Malkin gets hurt a lot. When he's out there, he still is a big difference maker. But that's a really tough call for them now. But he's been making $9 million a year the last few years. And I guess, they haven't – they've won one playoff round? No. They haven't won a playoff round
since they won the Cup.
They've won one.
The
They lost in the second round the next year to the Capitals. They lost in the second round. That's the only playoff round that they've won since they won the back-to-back Cups. So Crosby and Malkin and Letang, those guys have been the nucleus, part of, you can add Gensel and a couple other guys in there.
But they've won a cup, right?
They've won 2.
Oh,
yeah.
And going back before that, Malkin and Crosby were very young players on a third Cup team with Hal Gill and Bill Guerin, who's now, Hal's an announcer and Bill is a GM now. But all that to say, once those guys get a certain age, it's just hard for them to dominate the way they did in their prime.
So do y'all think?
Do you know Hal is still celebrating that Cup win?
Of course.
He
Why
should.
would you? Why would you?
Exactly.
It's a lifelong celebration.
It's the longest celebration ever in Stanley Cup history.
He should be. If I won a Super Bowl, I'd still be
I would
celebrating it to
say
this day.
I thought the same thing.
No,
If
I mean,
was
literally, he's still celebrating. Like, right now, he's in the pool with a drink in his hand. And he's going, we won!
At Mario Lemieux's house.
And he's pouring it all over his face. We won! No, I meant, literally.
Okay.
He's still celebrating right now.
Hey, sometimes you got to do it that way, I mean,
it's a big moment.
I mean, it's
you party
2022.
until you can't party no more.
We won. It's like, Skelsey, that was 2009. Yeah, we won. Spray it. Spray the champagne on me. Woo.
So I guess to answer your question, though, Derek, it definitely has to be a buyer beware. But it's like, what's the alternative? That's the question. Because the alternative is you don't have Philip Forsberg. And now you got to go find a replacement, and where do you get that guy?
But here's the reality before we go to break. With Philip Forsberg, you hadn't won a thing?
It's an argument. It's hardcore.
Without him? I mean, that's
like,
it. I'm just putting it plain and simple.
Now, it's harsh to say they haven't won a thing.
and
They've
what
been
I'm
a
saying
very
is
good
Stanley
team
Cup.
for a long time.
But-
they haven't won a cup.
But this is a hockey market now.
Yes.
And
you
what
could
do
say
you
the
want?
last
That
4
is a
years.
very-
Exactly. What do you want?
That's
you
a
want
very
cups.
valid argument. Is could you take that money and spend it on other players and end up better off? You could make that argument.
Yeah.
Only the future will tell. There's no perfect formula, but I do think that is something you probably ought to. Just like the guy that walks into the car dealership, the smart consumer is going to walk in there and say, you know what? It'll be very convenient for me to just have my car here. I'll get it done today, and that's what a lot of people do. I've done that. But the smart person is willing to wait and say, no, this isn't the best deal I can get. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna shop around. I'm gonna do a comparison, and I may not go to my favorite car dealership.
Okay, I want you to think
gotta
about
be willing
this.
to walk away if the price isn't right.
This is interesting. So think about this. And Derek, I'm glad you brought this up. So on the other side, I want you to think about the best free agents they've ever signed. Not guys that they acquired in a trade. Because we're talking about free agency. Like, it's been all about, well, if you lose him, then you got to go get this guy. You got to go get this guy. You got to go spend that money here. Try to think of the best free agent signings they've had since they've been in Nashville, since they've been in franchise history. 23, 24 years now. Think about that on the other side. Let's talk about that, because we're not saying he's gone. We're not saying but we're just playing the what-if game. David Poyle said there is a plan B, C, and D. Well, I would assume part of plans B, C, and D would be spending that money elsewhere. So think about that during the break, and let's see if we can come up with the best free agent signings they've had in franchise history. Not trades, free agent signings. But right now I'm going to talk to you about my friends at Cool Springs MD. You've heard me talk about them for years because I've been going there for years, and they've been helping me for years, and they can help you. If you want to become healthier and happier, if you want to improve your quality of life, well, this is the place for you. Maybe as the weather is getting nice now, the pools are about to open this weekend. You love to shed some unwanted pounds? Well, weight loss management is important to them, and they've got products and programs and people that can get you back on track and headed in the right direction. Rejuvenation, your appearance is important, but boy, it's challenging as we get older, right? Things start happening. Well, their experienced staff can sit down and talk about PRP, hair removal, and Botox, hormone therapy. Maybe you've been feeling a little bit off lately. If you haven't felt the same, haven't had the same drive, haven't had the same energy, been experiencing mood swings, you're like, what the heck is going on? Well, maybe get your levels checked. You know, they dip as you get older. That can affect you in one or all of these areas. Their experienced staff would love to sit down and talk to you about BHRT, testosterone, estrogen. These are just some of the things they do under one roof there in Cool Springs at 1642 Westgate Circle. If you want to learn everything about them, just go to their website, coolspringsmd.com, or you can always pick up the phone and schedule an appointment or a consultation by dialing this number, 615-283-7291. That's 283-7291.
If you're on the road between downtown Nashville,
They're still in good shape to make the playoffs.
and I-840,
Players make it clear they don't want to be somewhere anymore.
there's a new way to hear all your favorite shows and sports programming on 102.5 The Game.
I go back to that play and I shake my head. What I was worried about is that they were still just going to keep the goal.
It's 106.3 FM.
Think about all the good Titans teams. This is very much so a run-first offense.
Now you have two choices to hear Nashville's best sports talk. Check out 106.3 now and add it as a favorite.
Out on the trail today, I noticed the signs of spring. A purple lilac, a monarch butterfly, crisp, cool air, and fresh, bright sunshine. And all this beauty puts me in the mood to head over to my favorite adult beverage depot, Red Spirits and Wine, where I can load up the wagon with the best wines, whiskey, and brews to wet my whistle. At Red, you'll always find the best selection and value, but their Cracker Jack crew is flat out second to none. Just square dealing folks and straight shooters with great recommendations, and they never come off like some of those big talking fancy pantsers that are just totally full of, well, let's just say fertilizer. Red Spirits and Wine is the only place I do my trading, and once you've seen Red, there just ain't no sense in looking elsewhere. It's like British pop singer Billy Ocean once said, no more love on the run. Red Spirits and Wine is the real deal. Open 7 days a week at Highway 70 South and Old Hickory Boulevard. And follow Red on Facebook and Instagram as well. We'll see you at Red.
We buy any car. We buy any car. We buy any car. Any.
Did you know trading in your car at a dealer could cost you money? A recent study found consumers who trade in their car pay an average of $990 more. So don't trade in. Sell it to We Buy Any Car. Learn more and get your free online valuation now at WeBuyAnyCar.com.
Find out how much your car's worth at We Buy Any Car.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good. Really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless. Now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Robbie and Rex Road here on ESPN.
Welcome into the DDC.
Stomach Company is delivered.
There's a new way to hear 102.5 The Game. Nashville's best sports talk on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24. You now have 2 choices to hear our great sports programming.
Get the extra point, no problem.
And the Nashville Predators.
Scores!
Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Hey, this is Ryan Johansson. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Well done, DJ Max. Back here on the DDC. Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, Derek Mason with you here on this Wednesday. Interesting choice of songs.
I'm ready.
So, have you guys huddled up and come up with the best free agents the Predators have ever signed?
Yeah. We've got a list. We were really enjoying the Bell Biv DeVoe there, though.
Yeah, no, that's why I was kind of talking slow.
Tell him, Billy.
We had this going in the dorm back in the day. Come on.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
But we digress.
Yes.
On cassette, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the CD era. I think
Was
we had
it?
CD by then. That was 90s. Yeah.
Yeah, CDs was in full effect.
Yeah. I think by 88, 89, we were making the transition. By the 90s, it was CDs.
Straight CDs.
Okay. Yeah.
1990 release on that one, according to the 102.1.
Oh, that was definitely a CD.
That's like right there, then. That's like right there.
I had my guy. We had our guy in the suite, Chuck Mays. He had the 5-disc changer. He had the big library. Yeah, you just shuffle them around. Yep.
You always wanted him to play the music.
That's right.
All right.
Okay, the floor is yours. I thought you guys are gonna.
Now, I assume, Darren, when you say free agents, you're not talking about keeping your own guy, like they did a couple years ago with Roman Josi or.
No. I'm talking about bringing someone from another place.
From another place, an unrestricted free agent.
Unrestricted, because you got I just said it the other day. I was like, oh, Kadri, yeah. I've had people have been texting in, Kachuk and Gaudreau and all these names, that we do this game every year. Okay, so I asked the question, give me some good free agent signings the Predators have had in franchise history, guys that they've brought from other places. Not trades.
I gave Willie one.
Not your own.
And I'm going to let Willie keep that one because he's probably the best free agent.
Well, you mentioned it.
Yeah.
And I think hands down this is the answer for number one, far and away.
But I had Stu Grimson. I mean, not number one.
Okay.
But,
Yeah, Stu Grimson was one of the earliest unrestricted free agents that they signed that had a name, like in a distinct
Well, he had a nickname,
role.
too. Derek, what was his nickname?
I can't even remember it now.
Oh, Derek, come on, D-Mace. Come on.
What is it? What was it?
He lives in town. I hope he's not listening.
Yeah, Stu, please don't be listening.
He's got
please don't be
huge
listening.
paws. He's got huge paws.
Don't be listening, Stu.
He's got meat hooks for hands. The Grim Reaper, man.
There you go.
Okay, so Stu Grimson. Okay. What else you got?
Well, the number one, and Derek mentioned it, and I was like, we agreed that this was the first one, and we all remember where we were when this happened. But Paul Correa was the first and foremost, hands down the best that they've ever had.
Like, to me, it's like Paul Correa's on one, and then you flip the page and then you start a new list. Like it's number one, the runaway. Okay, so what else you got?
I'm going to stay in the category of former players that live in town and say J.P. Dumont was a big one.
That was a big one. I would say that's number 2.
You think number 2?
Oh, you think that was number 2?
Yeah, I do.
Because there's different categories of these. There's I'll throw one in a different category. Guys who looked like they were done, got a flyer from the Predators, not a Philadelphia flyer, but kind of a one-year flyer, and it ended up being a smart move. Mike Ribeiro would definitely be in that category for me.
But
where would he rank?
Really I guess he was a free agent.
Yeah, he had been bought out by the Coyotes, so he was a free agent.
Where would you rank him?
Well, I'm just
if you had to. If we had just 10 spots.
I think he's probably towards the bottom of the top 10 just because he helped revive them. They were a team that had missed the playoffs for 2 straight years. They were looking to reshuffle. Peter Laviolette came in. He wanted a little more skill. He wanted to play with some offense, and Ribeiro had a resurgent couple of years for him. And then he sort of, faded out as he got a little bit older. But they squeezed out.
Sorta. No, he faded out.
He did, but he was getting 35, 36 years old by then. It looked like he was done when the Coyotes cut him, and they squeezed 2.5 pretty darn good seasons. He had take a look. He had 55 or 60 points in there.
Okay. I did not have him on the list, but that's a good one.
I put him in a separate category. The other ones I had were Jason Arnott. Was another high-profile guy.
Top 3.
And he played 3 years, I think, for the Predators. Jason Arnott, and his production.
3
was
very
there.
productive years. So
you got to have Matt
3.
Duchene in there somewhere, and he's.
But it's early. I mean,
it's hard. Okay, so
that's hard because this is the. He had a really good season this year, but last year.
Well, of course, but he's still.
Well, the previous 2 years. I mean, you got 2 years of absolutely nothing, and then an explosion beyond epic proportions. So year 3, kaboom. So it's hard for me. Like it is. It's an interesting discussion because we know the body of work on the other guys. Like Paul Correa is 1 hands down. Arnott, JP. I think JP Dumont is probably 2. Arnott 3. I think those are the top 3. I don't know.
I'll give you another one in the Ribeiro category would be Sergei Kostitsyn, who was sort of a cast-off. They brought him in. He had a couple of good seasons for the Predators, who desperately at the time needed some forwards to help out because they had the D. They didn't have much punch offensively, and they got a couple of really good years out of him.
Okay.
I think
he belongs
this exercise,
on a list.
This exercise,
you know why I'm bringing this up.
Illustrates, I think, where you're going with this.
Yes.
Darren, is it's not easy to go just spend money and grab free agents.
Well, that's my point. Yeah. Look at the list we're putting out. Yeah. It's not the who's who.
It's not this really long list. It's not a really long list.
It's not a really long list, and it's not the who's who. It's, there are other examples of guys that changed. Like honestly, Kadri for Colorado, you would say those 3 years have been off the charts, right? Like I remember, I'll give you, for example, on the football side. Willie knows this. They sent me out to Glendale, Arizona to cover the Super Bowl. It was the Giants and the Patriots. And Willie knows I sit down and had an awesome, of course, I'm very biased because I was the one conducting it, and it was really about him, not me. I had an awesome interview with Jared Allen. He was a free agent. And I was like, because I wanted the Titans to get him. I was like, get Jared Allen here. Now, I think he had a DUI in KC, and so there's a little bit of baggage, and, he's a little bit crazy guy, crazy fun, but I wanted the Titans to get him. Well, do you think that ended up working out for Minnesota?
Oh, yes, it did.
I mean, they paid him the big bucks, and, those free agents, there's no, home run free – the Titans have some free agents, right, that you could say. Right. I mean, Delaney Walker he was a franchise changer free agent.
That was a good one, yeah.
Right?
That's a great point.
The point is, the Predators have really never had that. Like, Paul Correa, just because he ended up being a Hall of Famer and he had 2 very, very successful years here at the end of his career. But other than that, that's my point. Like J.P. DuPont, too, was productive. But they haven't – I mean, we're going on almost 25 years, and the whole point of this exercise was to say, who are we kidding? We're acting like Forsberg leaves and, oh, yeah, 2 big giant names come in here free agent-wise.
But hold on. Do you think it's different now compared to, when those free agents, whether, Stu Grimson or anybody else, that was early on in the Nashville market. Now you look at this market, it is a truly hockey market. The city's hot. I think it would be a lot easier to get those marquee free agents to come now rather than back then.
Let's talk about that on the other side. I like that.
That's an interesting point,
like
too.
That.
Yep.
I like where your head's at. Plus, we're getting a couple. There's one on the text line for sure. I do think we need to bring it up, and I think they're right. I think this person belongs on that list, but we'll discuss that as well to wrap up the second hour. But I'm going to talk to you right now about Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Yep, summer heat is here. We know that, right? Is your air conditioner ready? I thought mine was. True story. This weekend, miserable experience. We couldn't go upstairs. It was 89 degrees, 90 degrees upstairs. The upstairs unit was not working. It was not ready for the hot temperatures. And costs right now are rising everywhere. It is painful. Anything you buy, it's painful. Groceries, filling up your car, utilities, you name it. It's expensive out there. It's not fun spending money. It's not fun buying something. Well, I'd have Spring Hill Heating and Cooling come out to the house first thing Monday morning and fix everything because my unit was not prepared for the warm temperatures. Is yours? Is it old? Is it inefficient and costing more than it should? By the way, mine's not old. It wasn't old. But you know what? Have I been servicing it properly? Probably not. You should keep that in mind as well. Interest rates are rising, but not at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Qualified buyers have up to 72 months, no interest for a new York air conditioner, and 6 months, no interest for repairs. At Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, all new systems come with 10-year parts and labor warranty. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, a York certified comfort company. You can schedule like I did right now at springhillac.com.
Every Wednesday at 5, join us for Jared versus Joe as they debate all of the big topics in sports, presented by Parman Tractor and Equipment and Mayweather Boxing and Fitness on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red weather alert.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Storms picking back up again late morning for the afternoon into the evening, some of which could be strong to severe. Main threat will be for wind.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Nashville Sounds baseball season is underway, and if you haven't been to Third and Home on game day, you're missing out. Third and Home is the newest sports bar in Germantown that overlooks the Nashville Sounds ballpark. From the bar's spacious beer patio, you can literally see the whole Sounds game as if you were sitting in the seats with a ticket. No wonder it's known as Germantown's bar with a ballpark. Head to 3rd Avenue North and check it out for lunch, a night of brews, or to catch a game. Third and Home is open Tuesday through Sunday, and you can even watch batting practice on the patio. For more, visit thirdandhome.com.
Attention! This is a special alert for all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an overpriced auto warranty or no warranty coverage at all. Due to the increase of new and used car prices, repair costs, and the price of gas, people are keeping their cars longer than ever, which is why CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on covered auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can save thousands for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. You could save thousands on future auto repairs. Our specialists are standing by for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-708-1855. Vehicle Protection Plan pricing is at an all-time low. Plus, drivers who purchase this coverage today will receive rental car options, free roadside assistance, and free towing. Call 800-708-1855 now for your free quick quote. That's 800-708-1855. What do you have to lose? Call 800-708-1855. Again, 800-708-1855.
Jared Stillman.
This is a team that the entire city is losing their minds over.
Caroline Fenton.
It's one of the youngest teams in the league. They don't have a single player over the age of 30.
Stillman and Company. Afternoons from 2 to 6.
Presented by TriStar Moving.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to the DDC.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On ESPN 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Hey, before we begin the third hour coming up at high noon, we'll talk with Teresa Walker, the Queen. Let's give away some tickets to see Monster Jam. Nissan Stadium. Yeah, not really. That's not what they sound like. It doesn't sound like me either. But they're really loud. But it's fun. It's fun. That's going to be Saturday, June 25th. Let's go caller 8. Let's put Max Hers back at our Hillside Medical Games studio to work. 615-737-1025. If you want to go see Monster Jam at Nissan Stadium, June 25th, Saturday evening, caller 8. That's our phone line, driven by Wilson County Hyundai.com. A couple people on our text line, Andrew in Tullahoma and Gator Tim, have said, we are leaving out Bones, Mr. Nick Bonino.
Good, solid.
He
solid
belongs
pick.
on the list.
He does.
He belongs
He
on the
does.
list.
No question. And there's a lot of other ones that are role players. Bonino was a pretty decent size investment. That was a good one. We should have thought of Nick Bonino. But, a Scotty Hartnell bringing him back for 1 year, a Barrett Jackman, an Eric Halla. There's been some smart veteran pickups over the years. You can make a long list of those. But I think what you're trying to strive for is if you don't get Forsberg, who usually is out there? There's usually not a lot of options to replace. And that's why you find yourself rationalizing or justifying paying a little extra to keep your own guy.
Yeah, it was just to simply illustrate, who are we kidding? I mean, we're talking about almost a 25-year history. There's no history of almost 25 seasons of these big time, because everybody's going to want, you lose Forsberg, everybody's going to be like, okay, who's not just a name or two, who's the next big name you're bringing in?
Yeah,
right?
You're more likely to get it in a trade, or like we talked about with Adam, exploring something like the restricted free agents, which I know David Poile does not really like. He's been put in the place where he had to match a big offer. It would be different now, but I don't think he really likes that game. It's kind of like you feel like you do all the work, and the most likely scenario is the other team just matches the offer, and you've done all this work for nothing. So trades are definitely a way that you would try to make up the ground. But I think the best way, in my mind, of closing the gap, improving your team, is to keep Forsberg and then find the right guy, the Eric Halla, the Mike Ribeiro, somewhere in between if you're going to go unrestricted. It's not going to be a superstar guy. It may not be the sexiest guy, but it could be the right guy.
Yeah, I mean, yes, this team would, benefit with Philip still being here, obviously. But, the hardcore fact is that with him, they haven't put themselves in a position to win a Stanley Cup. And it's been, how long he's been there? 7 years, somewhere around there?
His first year was 2015. 2014-15 was Philip Forsberg's rookie year. That was the first year he made an impact. He had been there the year before.
So it's been 8 years.
Yeah.
So in 8 years, it's been up and down. It's been he's had some points where he's dealt with injury. He's had some good seasons, out of this world seasons this past season. But even with him, you have not put yourself in a position to contend for, seriously contend for a Stanley Cup. So what do? It's like eventually you have to say, okay, are we better in the long run with him, or this is an opportunity for us to – we've already made an offer. This is what we feel he's worth moving forward. He doesn't want to accept it. So are we better going to get maybe not a marquee player, which they still may be able to get because of where this city is now and where this team is?
And that's to answer your question.
Exactly.
Yes, it's different. Agreed.
So
it's different.
Do you get a marquee player, or do you say we get 2 or 3 players to help strengthen our team as a whole, not just one line? So, I mean, I'm sure that's one of those, plan A, plan B, and plan C. Maybe that's plan C.
Yeah. I think there's going to need to be some creativity. But I think all of this to say there probably is going to be a little bit more of an aggressive approach to this as opposed to last offseason or the season before, where they were turning the roster over to get younger. I forget the number that he said. I listed all the veteran guys that they had moved on from after 2020. Bonino, Turris, Arvidsson, Yarncroke, Ellis, Craig Smith, Pecorine, Austin Watson. That's a list right there of 8. But what did he say, Darren? There's only, 5 guys left from even the 2018 team. So they've been maneuvering. Mm-hmm. The nucleus of guys that have been around for a long time is smaller, and they've filled in with the young players. You know, for better or worse, you know what they are. And maybe it's not this young up-and-coming crop of superstars like once upon a time McKinnon, Rantanen, and all those guys were for Colorado. But you've got a good, solid base to work from, and now you know what holes you need to fill.
Okay, so here's a question.
All right, make it fast.
Quickly. If you had, minus the goalie, if you had 2 guys right now, and I know one of the answers what it will be, if you had 2 guys to build this team around right now, minus the goalie because he's there,
okay.
2 guys, who would it be?
Well, we know one, so there's no reason.
Exactly. We know the first one.
Who's the second one is what you're asking.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's Forsberg.
You're saying who are your most valuable players?
Who would you right now? Who would you build your team around minus the goalie?
Exclude the goaltender.
Yeah, exclude the goalie.
If you're picking 2 players to build your franchise around on this current roster, who are the 2 players? Yossi's the no-brainer, and then I would say Forsberg's 2, right? Willie? I mean, is somebody?
Willie's not really sold on that.
No, I think that's probably the logical answer.
Give me the other answer. Who would it be? Who's option B?
Who would be? What made you hesitate a little bit?
Well, because I think you have a nucleus of guys who are around the same age, high 20s, low 30s. That when you say build the team around. How long are we talking? Are we talking?
You had to have 2 guys
years?
Today. You're building it today.
You had to. Hey, listen. These are the 2 guys we're keeping. We got to get rid of everybody else and start over. But these are the 2 guys we're keeping, minus the goalie.
Yeah, because Forsberg's a little younger. I would have to put Forsberg number 2. I think what you're looking at, you're hoping that the nucleus that is remaining of Josi, Ekholm, Forsberg, Johansson, Duchesne, Granlund, that veteran group, and they're all around the same age, high 20s or low 30s, that you got about 3 years with that group of hopefully something similar. I don't think it's realistic to think they're all going to have career years again next year, but can they be productive winning players for you?
Again, though, the answer
for the next
is
3 years? Yeah, but the answer has got to be Forsberg because he's a little bit younger.
Well, and
he's got a better chance.
He's more productive
of replicating.
too. He's younger.
Well, he has been over
productive.
he has been over the course of his career. I'd like to believe that Duchesne has turned over a new leaf, and he may not score 40.
And
but
maybe you're right.
You can
but
count
how
on
do we
him a
know
little
that?
bit more.
But how do we know that?
Well,
that's a great point. But how do we know that?
I just think I hope you can count on him more than you could going into last year.
Look, if we know that this is Duchesne moving forward, then that does change the answer. But off 1 year, I don't know how you could. Forsberg, there is a body of work that we've watched. It hasn't always been 42 goals, as we know, but he's pretty consistent. You know what he's going to bring to the table year in and year out for the most part, right? So I think to answer your question, Derek, it's Yossi and Forsberg. All right, we'll come back. By the way, congratulations, Mark. Down in the Borough, Mark is going to Monster Jam at Nissan Stadium in June. Go have fun with that, Mark. Thanks for listening. We'll come back. Teresa Walker next.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, today, Wednesday, May 25th, we're doing something unprecedented. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy, clinically proven to open up and repair blood vessels. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, we're running a one-day offer that you're going to want to take advantage of. Call us now and you'll qualify for the assessment and ultrasound totally free. Also, a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. And today only, we're offering 3 tune-up treatments free, plus 20% off. This ensures that if you notice results fading in the future, we'll retreat you free of charge. It's worth $1,000, but call today, Wednesday, May 25th, and qualify totally free. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now to qualify for this never-before-offered special. It ends today. 615-576-5000.
Hey, Ray Jeter here with Harness. Are you looking to take ownership in a position that will support your growth and development? We are an excavation and site utilities contractor. Several things set us apart from our competition, but we take the most pride in the professional development of our people. We have multiple openings for operators, pipe layers, and laborers. Our pay and benefits are second to none, including our 401k program. Apply today at selectharness.com. Harness LLC. Build people, move dirt.
If you're shopping for a new home, the last thing you want is another surprise jump in mortgage rates. Hey, Willie Donick here, excited to tell you about Loan Pronto's all-new rate protection program. You get a rate quote that is locked in for 180 days, 6 whole months. Brian and Amy did it. They locked in an APR in the 3s with Loan Pronto. When they finally found a home a month later, rates had jumped into the 4s, but they were protected thanks to Loan Pronto, and they saved over $200 a month on their payment. With Loan Pronto's rate protection guarantee, you can make offers with confidence. And there's no fee for this, no upfront cost. And most home buyers who go with Loan Pronto save about $3,000 in closing costs. Call now for the all-new rate protection program so you can check rate increases off the list of things to worry about. 615-499-5780. or loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780. 499-5780. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval.
Looking for a career with purpose or have that passion for youth development? Boys and Girls Clubs of Middle Tennessee provides a safe place where youth gain the tools to learn, lead, and reach their full potential. And that starts with you, offering competitive pay and free after-school care for employees. Learn more at bgcmt.org.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting 97.5 Murfreesboro, 106.3 Williamson County,
ESPN
102.5 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell media station.
Informative conversation while you work. This is the DDC. Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Third hour here on this Wednesday afternoon. Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, Derek Mason with you. Teresa Walker, Associated Press, now joins us. Teresa, how we doing?
Doing good. Considering that we're finally getting to see something that mimics football on the football field, it's it's a nice, quieter time of the year.
Yes, it's nice to know you've been off covering Grizzlies and Predators, oh my, and vacations, and you haven't lost your seat at the press conference. You still get the number one question. I love it.
I do too, and I'll say this: there's times when others forget. And, Mike Vrabel does a great job of saying, no, Teresa gets the first question. He even did that back on the red carpet before the NFL Honor Show in L.A. before the Super Bowl. He was at a microphone that was, I think it was Television de Deportes, and their reporter started to ask a question, and I was all lined up and ready to go, and he goes, no, back where we're from, Teresa gets the first question. So, and if anyone does tries to be a little quick, I'm not above throwing a little hip check.
Yes. I love it.
Elbow. The eye gouge.
Sharpen up that elbow.
I'm short, but I'm mean.
How encouraging was it to see Robert Woods out there?
Guys, to me, that was the biggest thing yesterday. I mean, think about this. They trade for a guy who tore his ACL November 12th. November 12th, seriously. And, this is the first week of the third phase of the offseason, on the field, organized team activities, as they call them, and he's out there. Granted, brace on the left knee, a yellow, shirt over his jersey, for non-contact, and, don't hurt this guy message. But he was out there. He was catching passes. I mean, that's the thing that's so impressive. And, that if I'm Ryan Tannehill, he said he really likes Robert Woods and enjoys throwing to him. Well, the good thing is they work to build chemistry. He's there. And that's, you can talk all you want, and I'm sure D. Mace can talk about this a lot, but being able to work through it on the field is where it truly comes together.
So I think that we can connect the dots that he's going to be available for the Giants game, right? He's going to be ready to go. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, guys, I was my thought process was, and he told us when he, after the trade, it's like, I'm expecting to be ready sooner than you might think, essentially. And I'm thinking, okay, now is that training camp? That was my thought. But the fact that he's here for the start of off season or the organized team activities, then training camp and the opener for the season, barring any setbacks, that should, and we know the Titans are going to go carefully here, right? But that would be absolutely huge, because what did we just go through last year? A season where your top two receivers were dealing with issues all season long, and, we're in and out of the lineup and on the injury report much of the year. So if you can have him available at the very beginning of the season, massive for a team that is, let's face it, working to replace A.J. Brown.
We played Mike Vrabel's press conference yesterday. We played Ryan Tannehill's presser yesterday, and we came to the conclusion that, and I just said it right out of the gates, I said, this was a different Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill presser 2 was different than presser 1. I think Ryan Tannehill now has a firm grasp of where this market is right now and how they feel, and really thoughts on him. I think he came in a little bit different mindset. He may have been told what to be prepared for, but really didn't understand what he was walking into. And then after going through the first one and then the reaction to some of the things that were said in the first one, I think he came in completely different in this one. In fact, that's probably the most personality I think I've ever heard from him. You were there. Do you agree or disagree?
Oh, I agree, Darren, because it was very you could tell it was personal, because let's face it, since his comment about not going to mentor Malik Willis, and he made clear he reserves the word mentor for a very few people in his life who mean so much to him. And let's face it, that's the beauty of words. You can take one word one way, and other people take it like he was never going to talk to Malik Willis and he was going to actively undermine him trying to keep a spot on this roster, let alone take his job, which is not how he meant it. And he made it very clear that, but thank goodness, no COVID. He's had all the offense to his house. Did the old lineman one week and then did the skill players another week. Malik Willis got an invitation to the cookout. He was there, and that they've been talking. And you look, for those of us who watched Malik Willis at the rookie minicamp to yesterday, you could see obvious improvement. And as good as Pat O'Hara is, Todd Downing, haven't had a chance to talk to Tim Kelly yet, the new passing game coordinator, but got to think that there's been some conversations as well between Ryan Tannehill and Malik Willis, because you could see some visible improvements out of Malik Willis and his, shortening up his throwing motion, et cetera. It looked good. So, but yes, he went on for well over 3 minutes. I cut off the video I was shooting after 2 minutes. He may have gone close to 4. And the funny part of that was at one point there was a bird came in and was sitting up on a pipe overhead and just started literally chirping at him. And it was so loud that we all had to turn over and take a look at the bird, because it's like, seriously, even Mother Nature is got to chirp at Ryan Tannehill right now over his comments. But, yes, he talked. He was, you could tell the emotion that that's not how he meant anything. And, he was asked, why didn't you reach out and do this sooner? I mean, it's been, 3-4 weeks since that comment? Yeah. And, he could have picked up a phone. He's got social media. I think he wanted to address it to the people that, well, let's be honest, the people who, he first said the mentor comment to, we're the same group that he talked to, and, to clean up whatever phrase you want to use, make clear what he intended to say. He did that to us. And to that point, I give him high props. No offense to the national folks, but he didn't call ESPN and get on, First Take, whatever the show is of the morning, to get on and explain his case. He did it with us. And for that, huge props and respect.
I think he had to reassess. That's why I said I think he came in the first press conference mad. He meant what he said to a point. It doesn't mean he was going to be a jerk to him. That's not him. It doesn't mean that he was going to turn his back to him. But he meant it. He was probably angry that they drafted him. And then because he made a point to just say it on his own, like, they didn't tell me they were going to do that. I think he came in mad, and then he walked away after everything happened in the fallout. The reason he didn't talk is because I think he was reassessing everything. Like, it kind of reminds me of the gif of the baby, right, that walks into the room and then just turns around and goes the other way. That's what it felt like from press conference 1 to press conference 2. That's my opinion.
It was different. And, and here's the thing. The first press conference, I still maintain that the true headline from that was the fact that this guy needed some therapy in the offseason to deal with a loss that, Titans fans feel incredibly deeply and insist that their scars are deeper than the guy who was picked with 20 seconds left in a divisional game on his home field. But, especially with what all is going on in the landscape with college athletes who, are dealing with some serious things. And, we've lost some to some suicide. So it's like, I thought that was incredible leadership on his part, speaking up about it so matter-of-factly. But that's today's day and age, man. You make one comment and it's not worded the best way. It's like throwing some raw meat to the roiling masses of social media and the 24/7 news cycle, guys.
We're talking with Teresa Walker, AP.
I didn't know if you were like dropping everything and just calling her Teresa.
Yeah, just Teresa.
Kind of like
we've known each other for so long, just Teresa. Yeah,
Ronaldinho.
She's like Prince now.
Yeah.
It's just
Prince.
Teresa.
Yeah. We're gonna call her
She's
a symbol
Madonna.
in a minute. Just hey. I'm bummed that you are no longer covering the Memphis series. Obviously, Memphis got put out, but it's just a bummer because I look for them to be in the Western Conference Final, but it didn't happen. Hopefully next year we get there. But Nick Westbrook-Akina, I said this earlier, not today, but it may have been a week or two ago. I said this is his year to make that jump from being a third-string wide receiver or the third person that comes in to a legitimate number 2. I think he can do that. From what I've seen, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, they shouldn't have threw the ball to him in one situation. Why were they throwing the ball? But what I've seen of Nick Westbrook-Akina is that he's been a target of Tannehill and has been a reliable target of his. This guy's make the tough catches and he gets the yardage. Did you see anything in the last couple of days that further my thought of Nick Westbrook-Akina as far as him now making that transition from a number 3 to a number 2?
Derek, I completely can see him pushing to make that jump. I mean, think about it. This is a guy undrafted out of Indiana. The first year he's just trying to make the team. Last year he's, taking advantage. He had the second most catches on this roster last year, right? And he just keeps putting himself in position to be a target. And let's face it, on this roster right now, he's probably got the most seniority among the wide receiver core because, there's Des Fitzpatrick, Racey McMath, draft picks from last year. But you look around, there's so many new faces. he has a huge opportunity. He knows his offense. He has chemistry with Ryan Tannehill. He made several great catches yesterday, one on a really long pass that, in a game you'd think it would be a touchdown. So he's got size, and, he's a guy who just won't go away. In a way, he kind of reminds me of Drew Bennett because, another guy who came in undrafted, and you just couldn't get rid of him. And before you notice it, all of a sudden, he's starting. He's making, he is your receiver and earning another contract from, in the NFL from the team. So, he absolutely has that potential. And as long as it's taking Traylon Burks to stay on the field. I mean, I know it's incredibly early right now, but, every rep that Nick Westbrook-Akina is getting, that Traylon Burks is not, for whatever it is that he's dealing with, this is opportunity for Nick to seize the day and push himself into that starting lineup and stay there. Because that's the thing. While we think Robert Woods is one receiver at starting position and then Traylon Burks at the other, those slots have not been set yet. And it's the NFL. You work hard and you're better, you'll play, and it's that simple.
Well, that's he's in a good situation here because I believe that's how Vrabel feels. Like, listen, I don't care what your name is. If you prove that you can play and you can be a starter in this league, I'm going to play you. I don't care who you are, how much money you make. And I think that bodes well for Nick Westbrook-Akina in this situation. Now, you brought up Traylon Burks. Do you make a big deal about him not being able to finish out practice? Listen, my rookie year in Houston, when I had to go to a mini camp, I don't think I made it through the first day. And it was hot as you know what. And it wasn't because I wasn't working out. It was because the things that I was doing wasn't didn't put me in a position where I was going to be ready for camp. I was conditioning for drills and 40s and all this other stuff that the combine had me doing and then workouts. I never got an opportunity to truly work out the way I wanted to. And I see Traylon in sort of that same mode. And I see a lot of rookies that come in, they can't finish practice, and they end up start getting their bodies acclimated once they get to 2-a-day camp.
Oh, exactly, Derek. People don't realize that, they spend the first 3 months of the offseason training for the combine, training for pro days, and then it's almost like the switch flips. And if you're a good enough player that you're visiting, and he was the first-round pick, so he was visiting different teams. Teams are allowed, top 30 visits. You're flying around the country. You're doing dinners. You're at the facility. You're doing all these meetings. Getting the workout in is kind of tough because you're either getting on another plane or you're trying to squeeze something in a hotel workout room. And anyone who's traveled knows that those can vary tremendously from brand to brand, city to city. So, and now he's suddenly on, a couple weeks later, rookie minicamp, and then it's OTAs, and it's shifting gears, and you got to be careful that you don't catch a gear, grind it up a little bit, and you don't want an injury. So I think that would linger into June, July. So what they're it's smart to be safe with your first round picks, especially with receiver. We all know the issues with soft tissue injuries. You do not want that, and it's the first week of the organized team activities, okay? It's the third stage of the off season. It's not training camp. There's, we're nearly 2 months away from the start of training camp. He'll be in shape by then. Right now it's making sure you learn the offense. Oh, yeah, learn your way around the building is still a thing for rookies, right? So, yeah, people calm down. But he's a first-round pick, so we're going to be watching because people are watching and want to know.
Teresa, as always, it's been a pleasure. We'll talk to you again very soon.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
All right, Teresa Walker from the AP, the one and only. Derek, I think you've started something. We just call her by one name. It's Teresa.
Teresa.
You know who it is.
T-Dub.
Yep. All right. When we come back, we will continue this discussion. We'll hit on a couple other things that we picked up on yesterday from the Titans practice. Stay tuned. We're coming back with more on Darren, Donick, and Chase, along with D-Mace here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Do you have that one person or thing that just makes you mad? Join us every Friday at noon on the DDC for You Just Made the List. Fueled by Parman Energy. Visit ParmanEnergy.com, your one-stop petroleum solution, and try Star Movie on the DDC on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
You just made the list.
This week only, the Electronic Express Memorial Day sale is here. Celebrate with brands like Charbroil, Yeti, Samsung, LG, Dyson, and more. Electronic Express has huge savings in every department. Outdoor living, appliances, 4K TVs, smart home, furniture, and more. Plus, save up to 40% on all appliances with up to 36 months free financing. Shop in-store or online at electronicexpress.com with free express delivery. Summer savings at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Tune in to ESPN 1025 The Game every Tuesday afternoon at 4:30 for ESPN's Trevor Maddich joining me, Jared Stillman, on Stillman & Company as we dive deep into the college football world and all the latest from the SEC. It's all brought to you by Houston Clinic Orthopedics, when experience matters.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway. Now here's Jim Mitchell.
At Mitchell's Mr. Transmission, we also offer free towing with any major repairs. If your vehicle has a breakdown and you should need any type towing, towing is available through Dad's Towing Service. Dad's is a professional towing company in Nashville that provides all types towing and recovery, 24 hours a day.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway.
Your Nashville's best deal of the week is Nashville B-Cycle, Music City's station-based bike share system since 2013. With over 177 pedal assist electric bikes available from over 20 stations, from Sylvan Park to East Nashville and everywhere in between. Nashville B-Cycle is a fun and sustainable way to get around. And now get half off a monthly pass where you can enjoy unlimited 60-minute rides for 30 days. Get yours at theGameNashville.com/deals.
Big Machine Music City Grand Prix is hosting Indy 500 watch parties across all Jonathan's Grill Middle Tennessee locations. Come join your fellow IndyCar fans for Sunday's Indianapolis 500. 102.5 The Game will be at the Jonathan's Grill in Mount Juliet, and you can enjoy great specials on Michelob Ultra and Bud Light Seltzer. Patrons visiting any Jonathan's location will be eligible to enter the grand prize drawing for a VIP experience at the August 5th through 7th Big Machine Music City Grand Prix.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job?
Not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am hungered in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerinAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
I love this show.
Never miss a moment of the show.
Okay, all right, okay.
Subscribe to the DDC podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. You're listening to the DDC.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On ESPN 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Appreciate Teresa Walker for joining us back here on the DDC. So let's talk about Traylon Burks. Alarmed? Not alarmed. Derek, we'll start with you since you were on the Burks train that the Titans were going to draft. Early on, not much presence. By the way, okay, I'll save that. What do you think? What do you make of what's been going on to this point?
I am not alarmed. Now, if he comes into camp not ready to go, then we got problems because he's going to have, along with, being here now, he's working himself into condition. And I know no one wants to hear that, but this is a young man that's just now getting used to the NFL life. Believe me, there are other rookies that were drafted in the first round this year or the second round or the third round that are going through the same thing that he's going through, but we don't see it. Why? Because we don't cover them and we don't care to cover them. We're talking about the guys here in Nashville. There are guys going through the same thing that he's going through. Why? Because making that transition from college, I don't care what conference you played in, ACC, SEC, Big Ten, Pac-12, it doesn't matter. Whatever conference you play in, it doesn't, when you get into the NFL and you start going through those little camps, what you did before isn't going to prepare you for that. It's just not. You have to figure it out. You have to figure out what works for your body at this level. That's why I don't care if Derrick Henry's not here. No one else is getting hit over 300 times. He knows exactly what he needs for his body to make sure that he can hold up when they give him the football 300 plus times. With Treylon Burks, he's figuring out very quickly that the things he did in the past, he has to change because this is a whole different animal. Yes, you played in probably the best conference in the country. I'm a Big Ten guy, so I'm biased. I'm biased. I'm a Big Ten guy.
Okay. Probably.
But
Really?
it's still not going to prepare you from a condition standpoint what's going on, what you're going to enter into, those first few mini camps. And again, if he comes into, camp in July, late July, and he's still going through these same problems, then, my thing is, okay, now we have a bigger problem because you haven't learned, from when you stepped on that field the first day in, April, May. So if you haven't learned and you're still going through the same things, now we need to really seriously talk about this. And I'm pretty sure that's what Vrabel and Robinson and receiver coach, they're thinking like, okay, we understand how it is coming into this league. But if you're not ready to go come mid-July, then now we got a real problem because they're going to have to run that test in mid-July. And that test ain't no joke. That running test ain't no joke. So you need to come in prepared to run it, which I think he will. I think he will spend the majority of his offseason here in Nashville, and they will get him in condition so when he comes back in late July, he'll be ready to go.
Does he have an inhaler? Is that part of the discussion in this?
I mean, I've seen guys with inhalers.
Right, that's been mentioned, right?
I've seen guys with inhalers.
That's asthma, right? I mean, my son has the reason I know that is he's got 2 inhalers.
Uh-huh.
One that he does nightly before he goes to bed, and then the other one is for like emergency purposes, like when he's out on the ball field or whatever, and he has, if he has an episode.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of what we were going through on, what was today, Wednesday? I guess Monday.
But it's no
allergies,
different.
the inhale, asthma, all that stuff. And, this time of year, it's like, you talk about rock'em sock'em robots, right? It can pop you in the face many, many times. So I do wonder if that's, I know they're not going to discuss all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we made light of Mike Vrabel getting asked about the allergies and how he answered that. And, I think everybody's got allergies. I'm not getting into allergies discussion. But you do wonder if he's, that's the thing. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes, right? Like, I don't feel as alarmed. Like, some people are like, oh, is this A.J. Brown? Like, he's always going to be hurt. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure I'm looking at it.
But he's not hurt.
Exactly. Well,
he's not hurt.
That we know, right? We don't really know. They're not really talking about it. That's the way I feel, though, too. I don't believe this is about an injury. This seems to be more along the lines of what I'm bringing up right now. Like, it seems that he's dealing with some other stuff. It's not really an injury.
Here's the deal. All those people that are saying it, all those fans that are saying it, never went through what he has gone through, never went through what he is going to go through. So for them to comment and say, well, it's this, you don't know because you have not been through 30 or 40% of what he had to go through in order to get himself in condition to play this game at a high level. It's totally different from not just from a mental standpoint, but from a conditioning standpoint. When you, again, I don't care if you came from Alabama. It doesn't matter. When you step foot on the NFL field, that conditioning level is totally different from what it was in college. That's just the way it is. So I'm giving him a little grace in regards to that. But I said again, if he comes to camp in mid-July and if these things keep reoccurring, then maybe there's either he's hadn't been working, which I don't think that's the case, because if he stays here, he's going to be working, which I would advise him to stay here. He's already signed a contract. Find you a place, stay here, and work out. But If it's not that, then there's another explanation for that. And will they tell us?
Indy Ben on our text line says it's not conditioning concerns with Burks. He also has issues with separation and lacks explosiveness and speed. AJ had those traits. He had a lackluster showing at the combine, which was the first red flag.
I could tell you, I ran a 4.5.
We've already come to that conclusion.
Exactly.
Like, we know that. Like, you already know at this level. You've already made up from the combine. You've already made the assessment that he lacks explosiveness.
Yeah, I've already
speed.
said that. But they didn't. I don't think they drafted him because
I'll tell you
on the other side.
What you said. Okay, because you've already talked about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think nobody had any, any weird notion that this was a 4-3 guy. I don't believe anybody thought like, oh, this guy's going to challenge Tyreek Hill for speed. In fact, you've already talked about this, but we will talk about that and more. I also want to ask you, since you've been through this so many times, we went through the list of who was there, who wasn't. And when it comes to some of the veteran guys, do you have an issue with that or not? We'll do all that on the other side. But, Willie, you've got a word about Lone Pronto.
All right, let's talk Lone Pronto. Even if you thought about moving, it's not easy right now. Not a lot of inventory. Prices are crazy. Rates starting to move up. So Lone Pronto has the solution. Let them refinance your current home. Call Lone Pronto right now at 615-499-5780 and let them refinance your current home, turn the equity you have into cash, and totally transform your current house. That's the way to go. Think about it. Your home's value is up, so instead of wasting all that on an overpriced new house, convert the equity into cash for the home makeover. Lots of people doing this right now. One local couple did it. They got $200,000 out in home equity. And what did they do with it? They reinvested into their home, and now they have their dream home. New hardwood floors, new outdoor living space, a new swimming pool. You get the picture. You can do this now at your house, and you never have to move. Call Lone Pronto, ask about their home improvement refi, and give your home a total makeover. You can even skip your next house payment in the process, so call 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval.
Want the latest on the Predators from the people that cover them?
Heck of a year so far for the Predators. They've been so much fun to watch.
Join Robbie Stanley for Preds Insiders every Monday at 6.
I feel probably as good about this group of 6 on D.
Presented by Dr. Kelly Rice on Smashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
When I retire, I plan on being busy. Bird watching, cooking, traveling. I might even write a book. But I never thought I'd have to plan on being an expert on all things Medicare. Fortunately, with 75 years of experience helping Tennesseans, the experts at Farm Bureau Health Plans helped answer all my Medicare questions. So no matter what I plan on doing next, I understand all my options. Talk to your local representative or visit fbhp.com. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Plan on us.
Bring your hive together with Spirited Hive. It's Hive O'Clock. What is Hive O'Clock? It's connecting or celebrating with your hive, a time to be present and create shared memories. At Spirited Hive, we become aficionados discerning what goes best with bourbon, tequila, and vodka in a canned cocktail. Bourbon whiskey with rosemary infused with honey and lemon, tequila ginger infused with honey and lime, or vodka cranberry infused with honey and lime. Available to purchase on reservebar.com or tap room for delivery within the hour. Join us at Spirited Hive on Instagram to see what the buzz is all about.
Erectile dysfunction ruins sex, but it's more than that. It harms otherwise good relationships. It destroys marriages. It can cause depression and anxiety, and it can be extremely hard on a man's self-esteem. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and if you're suffering with ED, if it's affecting you, I want you to know that if you're like most men, we can treat it and get you back to the man you used to be. At the Tennessee Men's Clinic, we're ED experts. Our protocols have success rates as high as 90%. We've successfully treated thousands of men in the Music City, and we have a variety of treatment options and treatment combinations that could have you performing like you haven't in years. You could even last up to an hour and experience great sex again that is satisfying for both you and your partner. In treating your health, expertise matters, so make an appointment today. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra. Results vary.
Robbie and Rex Road here on ESPN.
Welcome into the DDC.
Stillman Company is delivered.
There's a new way to hear 102.5 The Game. Nashville's best sports talk on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24. You now have two choices to hear our great sports programming.
Get the extra point, no problem.
And the Nashville Predators.
Scores!
Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Hey, Nashville, this is Sean Henry. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Nashville's best deal of the week is Nashville's B-Cycle. Nashville B-Cycle has been Music City's station-based bike share system since 2013, almost a decade. Get half off a monthly pass to Nashville B-Cycle, where you can enjoy unlimited 60-minute rides for 30 days. Now at theGameNashville.com/deals. Back here on the DDC. Okay, D-Mace, address Traylon Burks.
Now, I mean,
to what we were talking about going into the break.
I said this when, before the draft, and based upon his measurables and his numbers running, he didn't run a good 40. But I've always said this: if you run in between 4.5s and 4.3s, I mean, you're good. Now, if you're getting in at 4.6, 4.7, then we have some problems. But what I pinpointed on was, the 3-cone drill and things like that, the side-to-side quick movements. He didn't test well in that, which told me he didn't, the separation, the quick separation, it wasn't there. But then you go and watch a film and, no one catches him from behind typically, and he breaks tackles. Well, the Titans, because the Titans offense is going to look totally different from what it did in prior years. Well, last year, let's say that. Because they're going to get back to running the football, people, and throwing it to the tight end. So the numbers that you think Traylon Burks should have, they won't be there. Not to say he's going to not have a good season, but I don't think it's going to be there considering he was a first-round draft pick. And it's not going to have anything to do with him. Just like Robert Woods. His numbers are not going to be what people think they should be, but it's not because of Robert Woods. It's the offense that they're in. Hell, A.J. Brown was their number one guy, and his numbers wasn't, if you measure him up to other number one guys, they wasn't even close. Now, was that his ability or offense? It was the offense. And that's how it's just going to be. That's what they're going to get back to. So, with that being said, they're looking for Traylon Burks to catch the underneath stuff. He's big enough that he can body people out, catch the underneath stuff, and break tackles. That's what they want him to do. They want sure hands, guys that can make tough catches. And Traylon Burks has proven that he can make the tough catch in college. That's what they want him for. If they wanted a 4.3 guy, they would have drafted a 4.3 guy because there were a bunch of them out there. If they wanted a guy that was quick and fast, they would have drafted that guy. They want a guy that fits their offense, a big guy that can catch the contested passes and that can break tackles and that can block, even though I'm like, man, don't tell me that. You don't pay me to block. You pay me to catch passes.
You certainly
and score
don't draft
touchdowns.
a guy to
exactly.
block. Although they do a good job of getting that mentality
absolutely
in their receivers.
So that's what they brought him in here. People, they didn't bring him here to stretch the field. They didn't bring him in here to be this quick, sudden, change of direction guy. They brought him in here to be an extension of the running game, what they do. They're going to throw him the ball, slants, quick ends, out, and a quick post, and they expect him to break tackles. A lot of his catches will be contested. I'm telling you that right now. A lot of them will be contested.
You're saying because he's not going to get separated.
Exactly. He's not a burner. A lot of A.J. Brown's passes were contested as well.
Yep.
unless they were play action when Derrick Henry was rolling and then it was wide open in the middle. But not just look at him, but look at the team he's on and the offense they run. They're not asking him to be a burner.
I think the important thing to remember when you're saying, this is what I'm picking up from you, Derek. Within that, how do you get him ready to get to that spot as quick as possible, knowing you really need production from him? You can't play as much, or at least I wouldn't think. You can't play the long game as much with him. You want to get him to a point where you can put him in a position to succeed as quickly as possible because they need some production from him.
Well, what you do is you play action, you go tight splits, you motion him, you get the defensive back off of him, and allow him to run his route. A lot of times, if you watch it, A.J. Brown didn't just line up outside. They worked toward his strength. They lined it, they cut his split, lined him up close. They put him off the ball sometimes. They motioned him just to get people off of him so he can get a free release and get into his route. Best believe that's the same thing they will do with Treylon Burks. That's the same thing they would do with Robert Woods, is to make sure no one can put their hands on him. How do you do that as an offensive coordinator? Well, you do bunch splits, tight splits. You motion a guy down, you motion him out just to get people off of you. Why do you think Cooper Kupp caught so many passes? Cooper Kupp is not an outside guy. He's not. What they're really good at is creating a mismatch. How do you do that? Where you line a guy up. How you motion him down. Where do you put him at in a 3-receiver set? Twins, trips, just to get him off the ball so they can't touch him. After that, it's up to the receiver to catch the ball.
Okay.
And Cooper Kupp caught a lot of them.
All right, speaking of Cooper Kupp, let's get your thoughts, too, on Robert Woods, because everybody seems to be really encouraged about how he was running yesterday. What can we take from that?
Nothing.
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 So that is not a sign
he's healthy
for you.
enough to run.
Okay.
That's what it is.
So you wouldn't go too far and say he'll be ready day one.
I wouldn't stake everything on him being ready day one.
Really?
I wouldn't.
Why?
Because
it's May.
I understand it's May. But again, he has on a yellow shirt for what? So can't nobody touch him. Can't nobody get near him. They're really doing just 7-on-7. They can't touch anybody anyway. They don't have on pads. He's healthy enough to run. Okay?
But we're talking about 3.5 months?
Exactly. Absolutely. Just think you coming off of the ACL tear. And then you got to go and somebody start leaning on you, pushing on you, pulling on you. That's different from just running a clean route down the field when nobody's touching you, where nobody's in front of you, so you don't have to make that sudden move, stop, and come back to the ball because ain't nobody on my back. I can do things a little bit different. I don't have to put that stress on my knee. Okay? Now when I line up somebody in front of me, it changed. It changes tremendously. That's why I said right now it just tells me he's in condition enough and he's well enough to run straight ahead. If he's still doing this two-a-day camp when people are pushing and pulling on him, then okay, we're talking about something. But right now, he's probably right where they want him to be. You can't. If somebody tells me he's going to be ready day one, I'm going to turn around and walk away because nobody knows.
You just can't know.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't know when anybody coming off an injury, how they're going to play or when they're going to play until they start getting pulled and pushed and everything else. We talked about it with Taylor Lewan. He looked great. But what happened when he got into the season? When the real stuff started to happen, he looked as if a guy that was a step behind. And he admitted it. The same thing with the defense. What's the defensive
Bud Dupree.
Bud Dupree. The same thing with Bud Dupree. Yeah. He was well enough to run straight ahead. But when somebody got in front of him, that 300-pound guy leaning on you, that's a different story. And it took him a while to sort of get into his form. And he really didn't get into his form until when? Toward the end of the season. That's when we started to see the Bud Dupree that we saw in Pittsburgh.
We'll come back and discuss the attendance. I want to get your take on what you make of some of the guys who were not in attendance. Big deal, not a big deal. Plus, Ben Wright covers Nashville SC. Got a match tonight with Broadway Sports Media. We'll talk to him to begin the final hour. More coming here on the DDC, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Let's put the green flag in the air and turn them loose.
Nashville's home for NASCAR.
He's going to try to make a big move here.
Is brought to you by the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. We are your racing station.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red weather alert.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Scattered showers and thunderstorms possible this afternoon and evening, some of which could be strong to severe. Main threat is for wind, and we do it again tomorrow.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
There are jewelry stores, and then there's Genesis Diamonds, the cutting-edge industry leader, the pioneer. It's no secret that jewelry stores across America watch what Genesis is doing. Genesis was the first to offer a free lifetime warranty, the first to offer a 110% diamond upgrade guarantee, the first to offer aggressive long-term zero-interest financing. And Genesis is always on the cutting edge in design and fashion. The styles other jewelers say are new and exciting were new and exciting for us 4 years ago. Genesis has the fashion-forward brands other stores aren't even allowed to carry. It's no wonder you see jewelers from other cities coming to Genesis to see what we're all about, and even buy their wives' jewelry from us. For selection, quality, service, warranties, and guarantees, Genesis leads. Others follow. So for diamonds, engagement rings, exclusive designer jewelry for any occasion, don't compromise. Come to the jeweler that sets the industry standards year after year. Genesis Diamonds and pre-owned Rolexes, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Hey, it's Jared for TriStar Moving. If you're looking to move, you need to give my friends at TriStar Moving a call. At TriStar Moving, you'll get 5-star service throughout the entire process. Everything will be taken care of, from covering your floors, banisters, railings, front door thresholds, furniture, TVs, and more. They took great care of my move and made it as stress-free as possible. If you're looking to move, give TriStar Moving a call, 615-640-1219, or visit them at nashvillemoving.org/radio and get 5% off your entire move. TriStar Moving, my official movers.
An MRI is a non-invasive, pain-free way to diagnose disorders, injuries, and diseases without an x-ray or surgery. Houston Clinic Orthopedics' state-of-the-art MRI Center at 394 Harding Place is dedicated to providing the highest quality of care in orthopedics. The Houston Clinic Orthopedic team ensures that all of their MRI technologists have specialty training on orthopedic imaging and orthopedic MRI. To experience world-class orthopedic care and see a list of all physicians, visit their website at tn.houston.com and book your appointment online today.
Something you probably do know. Progressive can not only offer you a great price when you bundle home and auto, they offer you round-the-clock protection. Something you probably don't know, the average oak tree branch can hold 70 pounds. Something you probably do know, your neighbor is building their kid a treehouse. Something you probably don't know, a falling treehouse would take out your whole fence. Bundle your home and auto with Progressive and get more than a great price. Get round-the-clock protection. Something you know for the things you don't know. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers, and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Robbie Stanley.
To avoid non-contact injuries and not repeat last year.
Joe Rexroad.
Just wait until next year's national TV schedule comes out.
Robbie and Rexroad. Mornings from 6 to 10 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to the DDC.
presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling
On ESPN 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Is Max bringing us back with Lionel Richie?
Oh, man, that is the joint right there.
Wow. I didn't even know Max had heard. He must watch American Idol. I didn't even know he knew Lionel Richie.
Oh, yeah.
This is my jam.
Slow jam.
Max, did you get
You
asked,
are the sun,
was that a request?
you are the rain.
No, my new rule of thumb for Willie requests is the final hour of the show every day is curated by Billy.
But it's not
so
the
next
final hour.
I know. This is just from the system.
This is from. This is just.
We
from
have
the system.
an unbelievable amount of music in here, from the party, from the Ville, from the Buzz, from other stuff. I guess classic hits. We got some good stuff.
See, this is early '80s. Just broke away from the Commodores to do his own.
He still
thing.
had the fro. Well, it was sort of like a mullet fro, like going to the back.
It was.
A mullet fro.
It was a party in the back.
Exactly.
No,
absolutely.
it looked like Coming to America. Right?
A little shorter on top though.
A
Yeah.
little soul glow.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Just a little
so
a little early.
Hey, but it was perfect. As you would know, Darren, you perfect hair, man.
I can appreciate
product.
it.
Yeah, you can appreciate
Darren knows
it,
about
man.
the product.
I don't know, Chuck.
Darren, a couple of quick baseball scores. Old Dominion, unfortunately, defeated Middle Tennessee in the first game of Conference USA. Middle had an excellent regular season, but lost 18-7 in the opener. SIU Edwardsville beat Austin Peay in the opener of the OVC tournament, 13-1. Belmont plays later today. Belmont had an excellent regular season. Lipscomb won their first game yesterday against Kennesaw, a really good team, 12-10. They play today against Florida Gulf Coast. And, of course, Tennessee and Vanderbilt are scheduled to play. They haven't started play yet in Hoover. We'll see if
By the way,
and when
they
that
haven't
game
finished.
gets going.
They haven't finished Tuesday's action yet.
Nope,
they haven't even
they're
started the rest of Tuesday's action.
Wow.
Yet. Yeah, Kentucky Auburn. It was supposed to be the nightcap last night. So yeah. Yeah, we're almost at 1:00 today, and Wednesday. There's still a game to go to get to Wednesday's action. So good luck with that.
There you go.
And by the way, if Auburn, the winner, so some of these teams are going to start playing 2 games in a day. How's that going to work? Like that's not going to happen, right? So they're going to be behind.
I have seen, if it's bad enough, I have seen them push it to Memorial Day once or twice.
Well, the winner of Auburn, Kentucky is supposed to play today.
Today's tomorrow.
Yeah.
From yesterday. So, yeah. How does that work?
Yeah, they're behind. They are behind.
Thank you. Can't get that from anywhere else, folks.
Nope.
That's why
They
you
are
listen.
behind.
They're behind. Okay. Speaking of behind, is Harold Landry behind? What do you make of him not being? A lot of people are like, what? He just signed a new deal. Why would he not be at OTAs? Give us, is there a code? You tell us. You've been in those rooms. You understand it. Is there a code? Hey, you just signed a new big deal. You get paid. Are you supposed to show up, or you're a veteran now? And, I guess he's considered a veteran, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's got enough skins.
It was his 5th year, 6 years?
He's played
like
enough
that.
where is he exempt from showing up to this stuff?
Per the CBA, yes, he doesn't
Well,
have to
I
come.
know technically.
Yeah.
I'm asking you as a former player.
Does the optics look good? No, after you just signed a huge deal. No, it doesn't. But in locker rooms across the NFL, guys know certain guys are not going to be there, either part of the time, may not come at all, or, they'll see them in the building, but they're not coming out to do any on-the-field work. I don't understand. And, again, it goes back to, did they talk to Vrabel beforehand? If they talked to Vrabel beforehand and he was like, okay, then, hey, it's okay.
Well, don't you think they did?
I think they did. Now, Vrabel can't say much about it. He could probably, okay, you're not here. When do you think you're going to be here? And I'm pretty sure they said, hey, listen, I will be there, but just not this week or whatnot. So, again, I'm torn on this one because it's like I understand from the coach's standpoint that you want your guys here because we don't have as many days as we used to. But I understand the players because the players are like, listen, I know what it takes to get my body ready, and I'm fully committed to that. So when I come into the season or when I come into camp, mandatory camps, there will not be any, if, ands, or buts. I will be ready. You will see that I'm ready. But the optics to everybody else outside that building is they should be there. They should be there for the younger guys and show the younger guys how things need to go. And I do agree with that too, but I agree with a guy, knowing what he needs for his body. And that's why I don't, and when it comes to Derrick Henry, I wouldn't care if I never saw Derrick Henry at the facility.
I'm not even going to bring up Derrick Henry. Like, to me, that's completely irrelevant.
Now,
what about Nate Davis?
Nate Davis, he needs. I don't know why Jeffrey Simmons isn't there.
Okay, well, what about Nate Davis? I think
Nate Davis needs to be there.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm
trying to bring up guys really?
Yeah, he needs to.
I'm not going to bring up Kevin Byard.
He needs to be there.
Derrick Henry, come on. Really? You think Jeffrey Simmons?
I think Jeff needs to be there from this standpoint. Do I consider Jeffrey Simmons the second best interior lineman in the game? Absolutely. Do I think that he should be the highest paid player on the team eventually? Absolutely. But I think he hadn't been in the NFL long enough for me that he can start, And again, I know they probably already talked to Vrabel, and Vrabel can't say anything, but okay, when are you going to be here? And he probably gave them sort of the guilt trip of, hey, this is a team. I want you here for the younger guys, yada, yada, yada. So I'm sure that's the spiel he gave them. My thing is, Jeff, come in. Put in a few days. You don't have to come in every day. Stick your head in, show us you're working. Come and work with the younger guys. And if you don't want to come tomorrow, then okay. But I do believe Jeffrey Simmons should be there because he doesn't have enough skins on the wall. Now, he has some skins on the wall, but he doesn't have enough to say, I'm not coming to any of this stuff. And if he's not there, I'm sure whatever his reason is, he's probably okayed it with Vrabel. And again, Vrabel may not like it, but he has to accept it.
I know what I don't understand is, it's today's not open. I don't, there's no media. I just don't understand. The media's going to be there. There's going to be a lot of eyeballs on your state. Why would Vrabel not tell them I get it, but you need to be there. You just need to be there.
He can't.
You let everybody.
He can't. He can't say that.
Okay, you're right.
He can't do any of that.
Okay, Wink. I don't know how you do it.
He gives them the guilt trip.
Hey,
for the younger guys.
Hey, just so you know, the media, everybody's going to be here, and everybody's going to be covering this. Just so you know.
But he can't.
I don't know how you phrase it.
Yeah, but he can't say that because he's
why?
He's the same one that don't want to tell the media anything.
Okay, well,
but for optics, don't you want it for optics?
Optics, yes, but
yes,
I
said the optics look bad.
And in a general sense, I think you should be there. That's my general sense.
Uh-huh.
I understand it's CBA, all that stuff. But let's really be honest with ourselves here, because I know my answer. Are we really going to remember who was there and who wasn't on May 25th when we get into training camp and the start of the season?
That first day, we'll ask the questions, and they'll give the answers.
If they're getting it done, if the guy's getting it done in September when the games start, we're not going to remember care whether the guy was at the OTAs.
Well, Vrabel's not going to care if you're getting it done in September.
It's a fun summer topic, so for optics, Darren, I get it. People are going to say it now because we have nothing else to talk about. But the bottom line is, if you get it done in September, you can do whatever you want in the offseason.
I wonder because if I can remember – and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. He was here last year at this time, wasn't he?
Well, see, that's the question. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Do we remember the list of guys that were there?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
I don't remember.
Yeah. So if he was there last year,
so why do we
not
think it's that big of a deal if we can't even remember who was there and wasn't?
Look at the names I'm bringing. Harold Landry's only because he just signed a huge deal. For the unnamed texter that just texted in. If Henry is irrelevant, so is everyone else. You guys are reaching. if I need to explain to you the difference between Derrick Henry and Jeff Swaim
or
Nate Davis, like, I'm not going to waste everybody's time with that.
Yeah.
If you think Derrick Henry's in the same category as Jeff Swaim, what planet are you living on?
Yeah.
You think they have the same rules? Get a clue. I mean, give me a break. Like, everybody's the same. What is this, Bill Parcells? No, Bill Parcells said, hey, I got different rules for different cats. That's how it works. Like, Jeff Swaim's not there. Nate Davis is not there. They're not the same as Derrick Henry. Like, we shouldn't have to explain that to you. Derrick Henry's had a 2,000-yard season. Derrick Henry's the elite running back in the league. He's got different rules. He's proven. Jeff Swaim? I have no idea why he's not there. But is that a big deal? Isn't that kind of a big deal, or at least worthy of a discussion? Like, why? If he's not injured? I mean, I think so.
Yeah. No, you're right.
But, I mean, quit acting like everybody's the same. My goodness. Yeah. It's not how life works.
Nope.
I wish,
Wish it did, but
yeah,
it's not.
Me too. It's not how it works, though. We'll come back final hour. We'll switch gears. Talk a little Nashville SC. That's next.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, today, Wednesday, May 25th, we're doing something unprecedented. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy, clinically proven to open up and repair blood vessels. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, we're running a one-day offer that you're going to want to take advantage of. Call us now and you'll qualify for the assessment and ultrasound totally free. Also, a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. And today only, we're offering 3 tune-up treatments free, plus 20% off. This ensures that if you notice results fading in the future, we'll retreat you free of charge. It's worth $1,000, but call today, Wednesday, May 25th, and qualify totally free. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now to qualify for this never-before-offered special. It ends today. 615-576-5000.
Winning this award is truly like winning the Super Bowl of car dealer awards for Mercedes-Benz.
Edwin Vickery, General Manager of Mercedes-Benz of Music City.
Culture eats strategy for lunch. You have to hit on all cylinders to win this award. You can strategize all you want. You got to still have the right tools, and our tools are our people.
Live the dream with 3-time Mercedes-Benz Best of the Best Award winner, Mercedes-Benz of Music City. Go to mbofmc.com.
Are you just riding through life, living, but not really living? If that sounds like you need to treat yourself to Cartronics, Nashville's premier one-stop shop for vehicle customization since 1982. Their team of install techs provide a 5-star experience from start to finish, ensuring your vehicle is the coolest ride on the block. From cars and trucks to boats, motorcycles, golf carts, and off-road vehicles, Cartronics specializes in personalizing your automotive experience. So visit their website at cartronics.audio and start living today.
The Ainsworth Nashville has been bringing a sophisticated twist to the classic All-American Sports Bar, restaurant, and private event experience in Midtown since 2018. Our multi-purpose venue consists of a full-scale restaurant, bar and lounge, and event space. Come for the wings, stay for our happy hour, and visit us for brunch on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We've got the good times to keep you singing all night long. The Ainsworth Nashville. Burgers, cocktails, sports.
Visit the Ainsworth at 206 21st Avenue South in Nashville or online at theainsworth.com.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting 97.5 Murfreesboro, 106.3 Williamson County,
ESPN
102.5 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell media station.
Informative conversation while you work. This is the DDC. Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Final hour DDC here on this Wednesday afternoon. Darren McFarland, Willie Donnick, Derek Mason with you. Ben Wright covers Nashville SC for Broadway Sports Media. En route to Louisville. That's how you say it. It's Louisville. not Louisville, it's Louisville. How does the USL team get to host? I know tonight is the U.S. Open Cup, Ben, but how does Louisville get to host this game? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, so first of all, thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, thanks for doing this.
So this is the U.S. Open Cup, which is essentially like a separate tournament that runs throughout the season. So Nashville, it would basically be like if the NFL had their regular season and also had a tournament throughout the year with like some XFL teams or something like that. Nashville beat Atlanta, who's another MLS club, about 2 weeks ago, and now they're going up to Louisville for what should be a pretty good matchup. I think Louisville's the best team in kind of the second division, and they've played well in the past, and it should be a pretty fun game.
I was at Saturday. It was my first appearance at the new stadium, Geodis Park, and so it was really cool. Took the family, and seemed like a great idea on paper. But unfortunately, the weather, Mother Nature, had different plans for us. And boy, did we really enjoy, Ben, those 18 minutes in the first half between Nashville SC and Atlanta. I will say this. We did stick around for a while. And we, walked around and ate. And it was really cool to see, like, the energy in the building. I will say this. This is, like, definitely the number one takeaway. The energy in the building is pretty spectacular. My 10-year-old was loving it. I told him, I was like, I wish you'd bring that same energy to the baseball field. My goodness, do we need to hire a band or something and wave some flags and chant during the games? Because the energy, even in the concourse during the delay, was pretty impressive. Obviously, then eventually we had to pull the ripcord and leave. It was, I think, a 3-hour rain delay. But that's the one thing that stood out to me, and I think that is obviously something they can really build on. I know the players have already talked about this, Ben, but I think they're going to create they are already creating quite the home atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think the energy, like you said, it rivals any building I've been in. And even after the 3-hour rain delay, it was still loud. I mean, obviously the crowd had dropped off pretty significantly, but I mean, it felt like the fans who stayed up the whole time. It's unfortunate for Nashville just because with the delays. I mean, the game was supposed to be on Fox and it was a sellout crowd and everything, so I think that hurt them a little bit. But I mean, yeah, the atmosphere there is something special. They haven't lost at home going back through Nissan Stadium since November of 2020. So it's for sure a huge advantage for them, and I think we're going to see that continue at Geodis Park.
Yeah, and it was very clear the 3-hour delay affected the teams when they came back. It got a little wild and wacky early on because obviously when you're sitting around that long, and I know the players have to do stuff to. But, to come back out and try to pick up where you left off, that's probably not an easy thing to do.
No, and I mean they had a false start too there. They came out and started warming up, and then within a couple minutes there was another lightning strike and they had to go back. So I mean I think at some point with all that you maybe have to throw the result out the window a little bit, just with the circumstances. But I mean it was still a fun game. I thought they played well. Hani Mukhtar and CJ Sapong are on fire right now, and it was a bummer that more people left because I think it ended up being a pretty good game, aside from the 3-hour delay.
We heard the cheering and stuff, people looking onto the field. So we were still there when the lady decided to, I guess, run on the field and get tackled by security. That was pretty interesting.
She was fast.
Great
athleticism with her.
Great athleticism.
And then whoever the security guard was who
oh
put the
my
hit
gosh,
on her, I mean,
the Titans need to look at him, right? Yeah, the Titans need to give him a look.
I was right above her, looking down, and I think she might have been out for a second. He hit her pretty hard.
I think you're right. If you watch the video, it does seem like when she hit the ground, she may have been out of her for a quick second before she got pulled up.
She waved, though, and high-fived some fans on her way out, so clearly she took it pretty well.
Ben Wright covers Nashville SC for Broadway Sports Media. So, Ben, what about tonight? Like, Joe Willis has become so synonymous with who's playing goal. Like nobody else ever plays. Does he ever get a break?
Yeah, so interestingly enough, they just recalled Elliot Panico, who was their second choice goalkeeper a couple years ago. He's been on loan in USL for the last 2 years. And it would be an odd move to pull him back without planning on starting him tonight, just because you can't send him back out until the transfer window opens back up later this summer. I would be pretty surprised if he doesn't start, which will be the first time since Nashville started in MLS that anybody other than Joe Willis has played in goal. So, I mean, it would be a shakeup for sure, but I think he probably deserves a break, and they're pretty high on Panico, and I think he's someone that they want to get a look at and see if he has potential long term.
So you might actually see a different goalie in there tonight.
Possibly, yeah. I think they're going to have to rotate some anyway. I mean, they're in the middle of a stretch where they're playing 8 games in 28 days. They're going straight from Louisville to Denver to play Colorado this weekend, and I mean they're tired and some guys need a rest. It's going to be a tough balancing act between trying to keep guys fresh and field a competitive lineup at the same time, with a squad that just doesn't have as many bodies as they have in past years.
Ben, you're the kind of guy that can answer this. I know there's a lot of nuances with allocation money and maneuvering that you do over the course of a long season here, but tell me how you interpret the Alistair Johnson. He returns with Montreal last week. The allocation money they acquire, what are they going to do with that? So tell me what you see as a domino effect there.
Well, I think the first thing that they did with that is they signed a bunch of guys to contract extensions, and you can use some of that allocation money to buy them down and essentially keep them under the cap. So guys like Randall Leal, Anibal Godoy, Brian Anunga, those guys all got contract extensions. You saw Walker Zimmerman got a huge new contract extension, and I think the primary thing that they wanted to do with all this allocation money was make sure that they kept their core intact. But that being said, they still have a ton of allocation money to use. They still have a lot of open roster spots this summer. I think it's 4 or 5 spots on their senior roster. So I would be pretty shocked if they don't make at least 2 or 3 moves in the summer. And knowing Mike Jacobs and how the front office has operated in the past, I think that's probably been the plan all along, to try to just hold on to what you can through this first part of the season and then really kind of reload in the summer.
You mentioned Randall Leal. He's another guy that if you're just getting into this, he's a name you're becoming familiar with. He's a main guy. He's been banged up. You just mentioned they got a lot of games. How is his health right now?
Yeah, so I don't think his injury that was never expected to be a long-term injury. They always talked about it as a couple weeks, so I would be pretty surprised. After this game against Colorado, there's an international break, so they'll get a week off, and I would be surprised if he's not back after that. So he's a guy who's been hurting. Teal Bunbury, too, has been out for a while. I think both of those guys are getting close, and I don't think it will be more than a couple weeks before they're back.
Is this your first trip to Louisville?
I grew up in Louisville, so I've been up there plenty. This is my first time in watching a game at their new stadium. So
that's what I meant. I mean, I've seen the stadium. I've driven by it. It looks like a nice little stadium, right?
Yeah, it seats just under 12,000. It looks really cool. I mean, it's in a great spot right by the river. So it's I've driven by it plenty of times, but I'm really excited to get in there and actually watch a game.
How do you think tonight plays out?
I mean, I think even with a rotated side, there's just a pretty sizable talent advantage that Nashville have playing in MLS. So I think they can afford to make a couple changes. I also think Gary Smith takes this tournament pretty seriously. So I would be surprised if he just completely rests his key players. I think it's going to be a pretty strong lineup. I don't want to just write off Louisville off the bat. I think they're a really good side, but I would be surprised if Nashville loses.
All right. Well, enjoy your time there, Ben. Thanks for doing this, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Yeah, guys. Appreciate you having me on.
All right. That is Ben Wright, covers Nashville SC for Broadway Sports Media. Good stuff from him. And, yes, that continues on. They're down to 16 teams, and we'll see if Nashville SC can punch their ticket into the Final 8. We'll come back. More on the other side here on the DDC ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Let's put the green flag in the air and turn them loose.
Nashville's home for NASCAR.
He's going to try to make a big move here.
It's brought to you by the Nashville Super Speedway. We are your racing station.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Ray Jeter here with Harness. Are you looking to take ownership in a position that will support your growth and development? We are an excavation and site utilities contractor. Several things set us apart from our competition, but we take the most pride in the professional development of our people. We have multiple openings for operators, pipe layers, and laborers. Our pay and benefits are second to none, including our 401k program. Apply today at selectharness.com. Harness LLC. Build people, move dirt.
Hey, it's Mike from Newton Nissan South. Have you ever seen a commercial for something that they build up to be amazing, only to be completely disappointed? You have these high expectations, and then boom, all the wind taken from your sails. The product isn't what you expected, and you end up feeling let down and maybe even lied to. Sound familiar? So many car dealers promise more than they can deliver, and you end up with extra fees, and your payments end up higher than you expected. You don't get that when you shop at Newton. The price you see on the site is the price you pay at the store. You can even work your deal online with Newton FastPass. We want all our customers to have a VIP buying experience. You don't have to take our word for it. Hundreds of our customers leave reviews online each month talking about our honest and transparent buying experience. The proof is in the pudding. Come see for yourself. Shop and buy online with Newton FastPass at newtonnissansouth.com. See website for details, Pudding Pop, Bomb Pop, kingofpop.org.net. .com.edu.
What if you could be debt-free in 3 weeks? Hey, Willie Donick here. My friends at Loan Pronto are helping people do it every day. It's Loan Pronto's debt consolidation home refi, wiping out tens of thousands in credit card debt. Listen, your home's value is way up. You can refinance now, take money out to pay off all your credit cards, eliminate PMI charges, pay off personal loans, or other high-interest debt. One local couple had over $50,000 in credit card debt. Loan Pronto did a debt consolidation refi, and even though their mortgage rate went up a tad, they cut their monthly payments by $900. Why pay 20% interest when you can consolidate it to one low payment with a mortgage APR in the threes? Homeowners who do it save an average of $800 a month. Do it now and even skip your next house payment altogether. That's what I call financial freedom. Call Loan Pronto now, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Golfers, tee it up this year at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from Callaway. Featuring the new Rogue ST drivers, Callaway's most stable driver ever, with tungsten speed cartridge, jailbreak speed frame, and AI flash face. Engineered for max speed and forgiveness. 4 different models to fit every golfer's needs. Think speed? Go Rogue. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit for the new Rogue ST drivers today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
It's on, it's happening. Remember, you can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter.
Get out of the way, I'm watching the game.
Presented by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. You're listening to the DDC.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On ESPN 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Well, you listen to how smooth it is. Listen to him.
So you kind of basically got the experience. There wasn't a whole lot to say, but I did want to talk about it because I know, Willie, I don't think you've been yet. Derek, I'm pretty sure you haven't either.
I haven't
Not even
been
sure
yet.
if Max Hers has been yet. I don't think he
I
has
have.
either.
You
have?
Don't doubt me, Darren.
You've been?
Who've been? Willie
After all
or
I've
Max?
done for you?
Been where? To the crisscross concert?
Geodis.
Yes, the crisscross.
Warm it up, Chris.
Jump.
Willie, put your pants on backwards, man. That's old school, man. I couldn't leave out my house with my pants on backwards. Oh, man. My parents wasn't having that. I don't care what is the fashion. That isn't in our house.
That wasn't going to work.
Wasn't going to fly.
No.
Huh?
Nope.
So D-Mace is a no. Willie is a no, but Max is a yes.
I'm a yes times 2.
Oh.
Well, la-ti-da.
Well, there
Yeah,
we
you
go.
saw 18 minutes. I've seen 180.
Well, jeez, just keep rubbing my nose in it.
There you go. There you go, Darren.
It did stink because we had a game first thing Sunday morning, and I was like, Maddox wanted to stay, and I was like, dude, we're not. Every time that you see lightning, that's 30 more minutes, and it was horrible. Like the minute the game started, it poured, and it was coming down in buckets, and then you see the lightning off in the distance, and you hear the thunder, and it's like, everyone, please head for safety. Yeah. Please get out of your seats and go to the concourse. And it's like, oh, crap.
That's
and I'm
tough,
like,
man.
okay, maybe it just blows over. Maybe they just
Nah.
I haven't looked at the radar. I haven't been – no. It pretty much – well, I can only speak for as long as we were there. We had to walk to the car in the rain. It never let up. It was brutal. Mm-hmm. So we got 18 minutes. 18 minutes of Nashville SC. I'll tell you what, though, it's a fun atmosphere. I got tired. We were sitting pretty close, or we were sitting on the side, straight, looking straight at the, and I'm still learning all this stuff, like the cheering sections, or they don't have seats there. These groups, with the flags and the music and they got somebody leading them. I mean, they're up on a thing jumping up and down. Like, my knees hurt just watching them how much they jump during the game. Speaking of jump, everybody jump. It's like crisscross.
We were warming it up. We were not jump.
We'll warm it up, Chris.
Get your crisscross straight.
Yeah.
Straighten it out. You're crisscross.
They jump, okay, the whole game. There are no seats. But it is, man. It is fun. And they took it into the concourse during the delay. It's a really fun atmosphere. I mean, even if you don't love soccer, you can go there and you can have a good time. There's no doubt about that.
You didn't go to the concourse to have a good time with them?
We did for a
Okay,
while.
cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
And then it was like, dude, we got a 9:45 baseball game tomorrow morning.
I'm sure Maddox was loving it. Like, yeah.
No, he was. Like, honestly, he was like dancing. I was like, who are you? Like, you don't do this stuff. Like, people were like cheering for him. He's like doing, I'm sure it was some TikTok or YouTube or Fortnite. I don't know what the hell he was doing. Some dance I've never seen him do before, but people were cheering him on. I'm like, who is this kid? Like, I've never seen this. I literally told him, I was like, why don't you bring that energy to the baseball field? What the heck is this?
Hey, man, he was having fun.
No, I know, and
enjoying Geodis.
He did. Well, we were there longer than 18 minutes, but I mean, it's a shame that we only got to see 18 minutes of the game, and then the game resumed on FS2, and we actually have that channel, and so we did watch. We watched a bunch of it when it came back from home, and then we cashed in. So, yeah. But it's fun, man. You should definitely check it out.
Well, I plan on going. DJ will be in town for the summer, so I'm definitely will take him to a game. So I plan on going.
Well, let's bring in Max since he's been so many times.
Exactly. Oh, he's been like, wow, 180
Of course I've been there. I've been there twice.
Y'all
in
have
4
it?
games.
Oh, my goodness.
I have been to both MLS wins in the stadium and none of the other games. So
you're a good luck charm, huh?
Plus 3 goal differential. So, yeah. I have not been in the end where most of the goals were scored, though. That's my only L there. But
so what's been your experience?
The stadium itself is a 10 out of 10, and I was not out to be impressed. Like I wasn't going to show up and just be impressed no matter what. I mean, it was great. The concourses are incredibly wide.
Yes,
it's
they
really
are.
easy to
They
get
are.
around.
Yep.
If you're in the top level, like if you're in the last row of the upper level, you can walk straight down. Take
It's
the
pretty
staircase
steep,
that
by the
comes
way.
up. It's really
It's
steep.
pretty steep.
If you're on the upper level, hold the handrail.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, good move. But you can get from like the top of the top level to the bottom of the lower level really, really easily.
Yep.
I had a lot of fun. I mean, there's a ton of food options. Even during halftime, the lines weren't much. Like I had to wait less than 5 minutes.
See,
like,
it was
there's
hard
just so
for
much.
me to gauge because
Right.
everybody was in the concourse,
Yeah.
right? So they got bombarded during the delay, and so it was impossible for me to gauge how it is just normal times, whether it's just halftime or during the game. Now, this game that we were at Saturday was a sellout. Were you at sellouts or?
I believe the first one I was at was a sell game. The second game against Real Salt Lake, it appeared to be full. I mean, but it was also a hot day, so some people on the sun side of the field were in and out of their seats. The second game I went to was the weeknight game against Montreal, and that was not completely full. They announced 26,000, and I think pretty much the entire announced crowd was there. I think it was pretty close to that. So maybe 4,000 or 5,000 empty seats.
So you went at halftime, or you said during the course of the game where you waited 5 minutes?
Right at the start of halftime.
Okay.
But, I mean, I didn't, sprint out of my seat. Once the half ended, I was sitting by the tunnel, so I watched everybody come off, and then I went, and it still only took 5 minutes.
But that was you beating the rush, and I suspect during halftime was probably longer. Okay. Yeah, no, the stadium is well done. I mean, really, it is well done. I went in with just no, I'm just going to take it in, and whatever happens, happens. And I was very impressed with it. Like you said, it's very easy to navigate, very wide.
Where did you park?
Concourses. So, believe it or not, we didn't know what to do. We had no plan. We're because they were not running a shuttle from Nissan. They are not running a shuttle from Fort Nagley, which I had no interest in walking from, that far anyway.
Yeah.
So we were just we're going to just go early and try to see what happens. And there was this place literally right there on Nolensville Road. It was just like a little, I guess, I don't know. Wasn't a junkyard. I guess they fix up cars or something. Maybe a car place directly across the street from the stadium. Now, directly across the street from the stadium is pretty deceiving because it's still a pretty sizable walk all uphill.
Ooh, that's not good for a knee.
No, I know, but it was, to me, I was at the time, I'm like, if I can see the stadium the entire walk, to me that was a win.
Okay.
But it still was pretty far. It was a pretty good distance, but that's what we did. We paid $25.
Okay. Yeah,
I was I'm willing to pay.
But that's probably the norm when you're dealing with a sporting event where they want you to pay $25, $30.
I don't know I don't know. We didn't go with the plan of talking with people okay, this is where you need to park. We didn't have any of that. We weren't equipped with that. We just did it. And I don't know if that's, where we parked. It's just a little lot. And, it was fine. It was great. It was easy in, easy out for us. But, I don't know if that's where people believe is the best place to park.
Darren, I came from the Wedgwood side, so the other side from you.
Yep.
And if you're in the area where 65 crosses Wedgwood near 12th, it's just completely clogged. An hour before, an hour after, all the way through. So I just ended up literally parking on a residential street right by 12th, almost between 12th and Belmont.
What did you had to walk?
Walked 20 minutes, but there were a lot of other people making the same walk, which made me feel better about it.
So you didn't pay anything?
No, I just parked on a residential street.
But you walked 20 minutes. Okay, so that's a pretty that's.
Yeah, if you're going with kids, probably not going to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to do it. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Or you got a bum knee.
That's the
or
thing.
You got a bum knee.
It's the combination of budget, fitness, willingness to pay, all of the athleticism, all
really
injury list.
You're really going there? This is not about athleticism or fitness. This is about
fitness.
Torn ACL. How about that?
Well, that was one of my categories, injury list.
Yeah, but you felt the need to slip in the other stuff.
It's a combination of all the above. That's how you arrive at how much to park. Sometimes you're a cheapskate.
So what are you saying? Chase should park in the stadium?
Look,
what are you saying?
I'll give you my categories. I'm a total cheapskate, and I am willing to walk for a long, long way to not.
You're willing to walk 20 minutes, huh?
Yeah.
20, 30 minutes.
I'm okay with that.
He's willing to pack his bike in the trunk or on the roof.
Willie
park 4 miles away and ride his bike to Geodis.
Willie will park at TSU. Yes. And ride his bike all the way with
I'll do it.
Well, heck, Willie should just bike from home.
Really? That's actually probably a good idea.
I might try it sometime. Because I don't like getting caught up in the wash.
Yeah.
When you just get into that area and you're
just so much traffic.
Especially for me, not a hardcore fan that's going to go to every game. So I'm going to want to try to get in, get out as best I can. So if you get up, the closer you get to the stadium, the more you're going to get in the logjam, right?
Yeah.
Most likely, at least for now, until we all figure this out.
Or just rent a scooter and hope that scooter is
See,
there.
I won't go there.
Actually, no, there were only 2. So I was like, man, if we find another one, if I see another one land, like we're gonna get on these things and just scoot on up the hill. We'll ride it up there, but we couldn't find another one. I don't think you can double up on those things.
No, I wouldn't advise that.
Yeah. So if there were 3, there were 2 laying around. If there was a third,
definitely would have.
I would have for sure done that, but there wasn't a third. When we come back, 29 years ago today, something happened in the NBA playoffs, and I want you guys to try to figure out what it was on the other side.
Okay.
Wow.
D-Mace and I are gonna plot. We're gonna put our heads together. We're gonna get this done. Hey, they're actually playing baseball.
29 years ago today.
29 years ago today, in the Eastern Conference Finals, something happened.
Okay.
What was it?
29.
Okay. We'll
Got it.
discuss
All
that.
right, We're on it.
On the other side, DDC, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Hi, I'm Yussi Saros. And this is Smashville.
Now here's a try off to the side. What a stop made by UC Saros there.
Unreal. You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network. ESPN 102.5 The Game.
The NBA playoffs are really getting spicy now, folks, and you can make every game feel like Game 7 on FanDuel Sportsbook, an official partner of the NBA. Joe Rexford here to let you know that throughout the playoffs, all customers can place a no-sweat same-game parlay each week. You get up to $20 in free bets if you don't win. FanDuel has a lot of ways to play. When you win, you get paid fast in a fast break. It's easy, it's safe, it's secure. And these playoffs, Golden State looks like a team that might just be winning this whole thing, although I think the Miami-Boston winner, either one of those teams could be a real challenge. I think Jason Tatum's gotten his bad game out of the way. I think I might be looking at him if I was building a same-game parlay for sure. And maybe Kevon Looney rebounds. That guy is all over the glass. If you're new to FanDuel, download the FanDuel Sportsbook app, sign up for promo code Joe102. Get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Again, promo code Joe102. And if you already have an account, you're all set to bet. No sweat. Either way, you get up to $20 in free bets if your same-game parlay during the playoffs doesn't win. FanDuel Sportsbook, an official partner of the NBA. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Refund issued is now withdrawable free bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max free bet $20 per week. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
From elegant to contemporary, Social Furniture has it all. And right now, get no interest financing on any purchase through Memorial Day. Save hundreds, even thousands on top brand name bedroom suites, living room and dining sets. Thousands of combinations in stock, ready for immediate delivery. All colors and styles are designer brand names, such as Woodhouse, Sealy, Serta, Kincaid, Bernhardt, Stearns & Foster, and Bassett. Shop local, shop social. Social Furniture opens 7 days a week on the west side, on Charlotte Avenue in the Richland Creek Shopping Center.
The Gallatin Hotel is a vibrant and charming boutique hotel tucked into East Nashville and was voted the #1 boutique hotel in East Nashville by TripAdvisor. Not only is the Gallatin unique by design, but they also give away the majority of their profits to those who need it most and provides beds, food, and supplies to Nashville's underserved communities and those experiencing homelessness. Just one more reason to love your stay at the Gallatin. Visit thegallatinhotel.com to book your stay now. The Gallatin Hotel. It's good vibes only.
Signs First is the official sign company for 102.5 The Game. Go to sfnash.com.
Hey, Nashville, it's Chase McKay, Program Director of ESPN 102.5 The Game, and there's a new way that you can hear Nashville's best sports talk. It's on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24, you now have two choices to hear our great sports talk programming. And, of course, the Nashville Predators. Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Hey, honey.
Hey, Mom. How did Jordan's interview go?
I'm not sure. Your brother isn't home yet. Oh, one sec. Someone's at the door.
Are you Mrs. Lewis?
Yes?
Mrs. Lewis, I'm Officer Taylor. Your son was in a crash and has died.
What?
He wasn't wearing his seatbelt and was ejected from the vehicle.
No. No.
Mom, is everything okay? Mom? Answer.
Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
Hey Nashville, this is Vanderbilt football head coach Clark Lee. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 1025 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
Oh, I don't. This is definitely a Philly special. I have no clue. It's something like, something a cross between Depeche Mode and.
You're in the neighborhood. Flock of Seagulls.
Flock of Seagulls.
Yeah, I knew
The
that.
Flock of Seagulls.
Something. I was going to go down the list.
Mayor from Easttown. This is in there.
Yeah,
it's on the playlist.
All right, 29 years ago today, what happened in the Eastern Conference Final?
So it was in 1993, right?
Yep. Is that right?
Do you guys have your final answer?
We debated.
Yes,
we
debated.
We threw out different things, and we've come up with our
the
educated
Eastern Conference
guess.
Finals,
This
right?
has got to be like Jeopardy, Final Jeopardy, or Family Feud. You have to come out and give one answer.
So it was the Bulls versus the Knicks, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So we whittled it down to two things it could be, and so. Are you with me on the final answer?
I got to be with you, Willie. I'm with you.
All right, we're going down together.
We're going down together.
Because we
Willie.
got it down to two. It's either the John Starks dunk when they went up 2-0, but I think our final answer is going to be the Charles Smith game where he got a shot blocked 3 times in the final seconds. That's what we submit.
So Donovan from Wisconsin said Barkley won the MVP after being traded. That's not correct. That's not it.
And it has something to do with the game, right?
So your final answer was again, say it one more time.
Charles Smith, Madison Square Garden, series tied 2-2. Knicks need to win to go back up 3-2 because they couldn't win in Chicago, but they had the home court as the 1 seed against Michael Jordan, trying to prevent the three-peat. And Charles Smith got his shot blocked, I think, 3 times in a final flurry to preserve a win for the Bulls.
Okay. Let's find out. Survey says that's incorrect. I'm sorry.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Now, did it happen on the court?
The correct answer was John Starks with the dunk over Jordan and Grant. You guys.
I said the dunk.
We had the 2.
Yeah, we had the 2.
Sorry.
Man.
Starks with the dunk.
Yeah.
Posterized Grant and Jordan.
I did see that live. I was watching the game live when that happened.
Oh, I wanted the Knicks to win so bad.
I did too. I was rooting for the Knicks. That was a great moment.
John Starks, Anthony Mason,
Charles Oakley,
Patrick Ewing,
Derek Harper,
yes. Pat misses the free throws. Like, dude, seriously?
They were so close and never quite won it.
And never got back.
Wait a minute. Derek Harper?
Derek Harper. Point guard, backup point guard. Greg Anthony was on that team too.
Was he?
Yeah.
Was Ron Harper wasn't, right?
No.
Ron Harper was
the Cavs.
Bulls.
Yeah.
No, was he a Bull then? No, he was a Bull.
He was on the next three-peat. You're right. He wasn't to the Bulls.
He was
yet.
with the Cavs,
Cavs
or the Clippers.
I wasn't sure if
he
you
was
were
with the
meaning
Clippers.
Ron
He did
Harper.
go to the Clippers.
Yeah. He might have been with the Clippers.
No, but Derek Harper had the mustache. He had come over. He had played with the Mavericks earlier in his career. Another hard-nosed Pat Riley kind of guy. They just had that tough team that scored just enough, but just got in your face and, tried to go bad boys a little bit and slow down Jordan. They were so close. They had the home court. And they couldn't
Who was
quite
the other
make the most of
three-point
it.
shooter for them? It was Harper and they had another three-point shooter.
Well, they had Starks shot a lot of threes, obviously.
But Starks was more of a slasher.
He was, and he could be streaky, as we know. He got
very streaky.
He got cold at the wrong time.
Awful.
In 94 in the finals. But Greg Anthony, Harper.
He was not out.
Who
I don't
was
think
that?
he was out. Look at this play.
Yeah, in the SEC tournament, they just had a guy throw out a
By
runner
the way,
from right field.
When
Was
do you
that
ever
the right
see
fielder?
that? Yes.
Yeah.
When do you see that in high-level Division I baseball? Wow.
That doesn't happen
I think
much.
he was safe, though. I think he's safe.
They're not challenging.
Wow. They're not going to challenge that?
That is the worst feeling in the world.
You
get a
tell
base hit
me
to
the
right.
last time you've seen a high-level D1 baseball game, seen a base hit to right field and get thrown out at first.
It doesn't happen often, but I have seen in the majors it does happen. You got to have a cannon from right, or you got to be playing really shallow.
Or you could look like Auburn's first baseman.
Yeah.
Now, if he did it.
And if the
You
guy
tell
just
me,
runs
here
through
we
the
go,
base
here we
and
go,
doesn't
here we
dive,
go.
you don't slide head first into first. It slows you down.
He's safe. You're right, Willie. You're right.
Just run
You're
through the
right.
base.
I think he's safe.
All right, you
but
got
I
our
think you're
3-point
right.
shooter, D. Mason?
It was Rolando Blackman.
Rolando Blackman.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
From
what
the
I was thinking of.
Mavericks.
From the
Yes,
Mavs.
absolutely. From the
the
Mavs.
Kansas State.
He was there
He's
when
safe.
Mark Aguirre was with the Mavericks.
Yes, they had a
Yes,
good team.
he
And
was.
Derek
Yes,
Harper.
And Derek Harper, yes.
And James Donaldson.
And Dallas Comegys.
Dallas Cowboys.
Hubert Davis was on that team.
He was a rookie, I think, that year.
Yeah.
Was Dallas
Hubert Davis.
Comegys not on that team?
No.
No?
Doc Rivers was.
Doc Rivers was on the Knicks that year?
Yes.
Wow. A veteran team.
Doc Rivers was on that
It's a
team.
veteran
Oh,
team.
I was
Big
I was
Herb
back to the
Williams.
Mavs.
Herb Williams?
Yes.
I thought he went – didn't he end up going to the Pacers and playing against
Yeah,
those
he
Knicks
did
teams?
go to the Pacers, but he was on that Knick team.
Oh, fit right in.
They
Tough.
called him out. Well, I disagree. Well, and you're right. That's a great coaching moment right there. You don't slide head first.
Not into first.
Run through it.
Run
slows
through
you
the
down.
base. Run through the base.
You will decelerate the minute you leave your feet.
Yes, that's right. Run through. I mean, I understand what you're thinking in your mind as you're processing. I could dive. I can get there fast. No. Nope.
Not going to make it.
I don't know if that call. By the way, no score, Kentucky-Auburn in the fourth. Let's see. People are saying Hubert Davis. Yep, we got that. On the text line, Kenneth in Columbia wants me to address, don't you think Derrick Henry, going back to our conversation, should be there since he's coming back from an injury? No, I don't. I don't think that.
I think it would be
I
nice.
don't think that changes anything.
It would be nice if he did, but he's a veteran.
And he's
It's his
trained
call.
on his own every offseason.
And no one's ever complained about
And
Derrick
no one's
Henry and
right.
his conditioning.
Yep. No one's ever. That's never been brought.
Well, I would say
up
the
in
whole
question.
team need to go work with Derrick Henry's trainer.
Yeah, really. need to go climb those mountains with him.
Yeah.
The whole team needs to
roll
go.
tires up hills.
Exactly.
You do that.
And also, I think for a running back, it's not as much about the timing as it would be for a receiver building the route trees, the chemistry. It's a new passing game. Would you say it's a little different for a wide receiver than it would be for a running back?
Yeah, it is. Because from a running back standpoint, nothing's really changing. He and Tannehill have been together so long. What he's going to have to sort of get used to is the two different guys that are going to be in the offensive line for him. How do they block? And right now you don't know that because you're not in pads. You can't do anything, So again, Derrick Henry, if he chooses to stay gone, then hey, as long as he's ready to come back and give the Titans another, 15, 1,600 plus yard season.
Also, I haven't heard any follow-up on this Jeremy Fowler thing. They're open to a changing of the contract. I wonder if that will pop up again. I was curious about that yesterday. Nothing seems to be – nothing's getting legs anyway, at least for the moment.
Well, for now, nothing's happening.
Gene in Spring Hill he texted the roster to us. Did you guys mention Anthony Bonner?
Anthony Bonner.
Yes.
He was on that Knicks team.
He was.
St. Louis U, the Billikens. He was the star player.
Anthony Bonner.
He was the star player for St. Louis U.
Tony
Campbell. I was laughing at some of the
You remember
names.
he was with the Lakers, too.
Corey Gaines. Some guys with Eric Anderson.
Anthony Bonner was the star player for St. Louis U when the Commodores beat them in the 1990
not Lionel Richie, not
NIT
that,
final.
not the group. No.
Madison Square Garden.
You're saying
Anthony Bonner was the guy we had to scout and slow down.
You're talking about VU, right, Billy? VU, not Lionel Richie.
Not Lionel Richie. That would be the Vanderbilt Commodores,
Okay.
NIT champions, 1990.
Remember there was so much high hope for Tony Campbell?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just those years with the Lakers. He was supposed to be the guy in the middle. They didn't win a championship when it was with the Lakers, did they?
I think they got to the finals. Was that the year that Magic bounced back and got to the – was he on the Lakers that year? I feel like he was.
That's the year Magic
91?
got hurt. That's the year Magic got hurt, the hamstring, when they played the Pistons and lost to the Pistons. That was 89.
Does he go back that far with them?
Yeah.
When they were going for
he
the
was
three-peat.
only there. He was only there from 88 to 89.
Ah, okay.
They played the Pistons. Magic gets hurt with the hamstrings, and the Pistons win. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Max Hurst is kind of hard, Tony Campbell. We have high expectations, and I hope that he ends up, living up to them better than Tony Campbell. Our bar is high for Max Hurst.
So we have covered 90s
I hope that he's
NBA
better than
players.
Tony Campbell. Yeah, we've
obscure 90s NBA players that we've forgotten.
We have basically covered the 90s between music and sports today.
It all started with Chris Cross.
Yeah,
Yep.
it did. It did. All
Thank
right,
you, Willie.
We will come back and we'll find out what the last selection is before we close up shop here on this Wednesday. ESPN 102.5 The Game and 106.3.
Join Chase McCabe for Chasing Checkers every Sunday morning at 8 for all the news in the world of motorsports.
Joey Logano gets the very first victory in the next-gen car
while hearing from the big names.
Two-time champion Kyle Busch.
Being able to bring NASCAR, the Cup Series, back to Nashville is cool.
It's Chasing Checkers, presented by Apple Collision Centers and the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway.
On ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red weather alert.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Scattered showers and thunderstorms possible this afternoon and evening, some of which could be strong to severe. The main threat is for wind, and we do it again tomorrow.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, today, Wednesday, May 25th, we're doing something unprecedented. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy, clinically proven to open up and repair blood vessels. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, we're running a one-day offer that you're going to want to take advantage of. Call us now and you'll qualify for the assessment and ultrasound totally free. Also, a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. And today only, we're offering 3 tune-up treatments free, plus 20% off. This ensures that if you notice results fading in the future, we'll retreat you free of charge. It's worth $1,000, but call today, Wednesday, May 25th, and qualify totally free. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now to qualify for this never-before-offered special. It ends today. 615-576-5000.
You purchased a fine European automobile because of the amazing drivability and great looks. Then someone slid into you during a rainstorm. European Collision Repair is Nashville's premier location for collision repairs. Their state-of-the-art facility is certified by 30 vehicle manufacturers. The best part is their customer service, and they can provide an estimate simply by you sending in a photo of your damage. If you have a fine European automobile, have the repairs done at European Collision Repair. Go to EuropeanCollisionRepair.com.
You love Days Delta 8 products. Now follow them on Instagram for special promotions, giveaways, contests for cash prizes, and cannabis education. Make your next Days purchase at any of the 3,500 nationwide stores that hold their products in Informed One. Follow Days.D8Official. That's Days.D8Official on Instagram to see this truly single-source Delta 8 brand behind the scenes. Days 8, the highest quality standard of Delta 8.
Industry leaders, do your employees use computer science? Would you like to influence the future workforce? Come share your expertise with educators across the state as we move toward integrating computer science into K-12 schools. The Tennessee Department of Education and STEM Network is looking for industry leaders to exhibit at the Computer Science Momentum Expedition, June 27th through the 29th at Nissan Stadium. To become an exhibitor and influencer, find out more at tsin.org.
Jared Stillman.
If you get 3 games where he doesn't turn the ball over, you're going to the Super Bowl.
Caroline Fenton.
I don't know if he would be open to joining another team.
Stillman and Company. Afternoons from 2 to 6.
Presented by TriStar Moving.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to the DDC.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On ESPN 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
I think this came from like Billy's club days, D-Mace, I think. He's out drinking with the friends.
Oh, yeah.
He's got his hat with the V on it.
I can see Billy in the corner, just sit back, legs folded.
See, this is the vibe I create.
Just
I
jam.
create the vibe. Yeah.
He's just bobbing his head. He's doing more talking than paying attention to the music.
He's just sitting there chilling with his green shirt, blue pants, yellow socks.
I can picture you with some Chucks on, too.
Black hat, white shoes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And all the people are saying, I want to know what that guy's all about. What's that guy all about?
Can I borrow your sunglasses?
They're probably thinking
He's a
like,
little bright.
Did that guy get dressed in the dark?
Check out that guy's
And
outfit
Willie's
over
just
there.
vibing. He's just
And
vibing.
his head's bobbing.
Exactly.
That dude over there with the hat with the V on it. Look at that guy. What's his deal? What's up with him?
Oh, you don't know who that is? That's Philly.
How about that fro he's got going, man? All
Back
right,
in your
Billy.
bandy days.
Billy, tell us about Billy tonight. Can Billy keep the Blues alive in Colorado? Does that series extend or is it over?
I am going to say it ends tonight. I like it.
Philly
I
on
like
Billy
the Avs.
crime.
I like the Avs. Too powerful. And I think the real question is can Calgary get back into the series in the other one? No, you think they're done?
They can't. I'm shocked. I mean, they're going to go nuts. I mean, they are going to go nuts.
Was
Just
it 3-2?
think about it. No, it's 3-1.
3-1. Yes.
Think about it. We talked about that first game. It was like 9-6, and it was like, oh my gosh. And Calgary was just dominating them. Then Edmonton comes back and ties it. Then Calgary wins 9-6. It's been all Oilers since then. They're going to win this. They're going to win it. They're going to win the series.
And how about this? Evander Kane has 12 goals.
Yes.
Wow.
12 in the playoffs. This is only the second round.
Goals.
And he's on the line with number 97. Connor McDavid is playing unbelievably good hockey right now. He is on another planet.
I bet you he wants to get paid this offseason. That's probably see what I did there. Anyone? Tough crowd. Gosh, man. He is going to get, I mean.
But there's a lot of people that are watching.
He's probably going to stay in Edmonton, right? I would think. They probably.
Who?
Evander Kane.
Oh, Evander Kane? That's going to be an interesting one because, yeah, he is a free agent. He is a free agent. How could you not want to bring him back? But he's had his issues. He hadn't had any there. So but that is one
that we know of right now.
No, I don't think he has it. The chemistry has been really good. They've been singing his praises. He plays tough. He gets the attention of the opposition. They try to get in his head, and he's played awesome. But McDavid.
Oh, by the way, Kachuk. I mean, he set the tone in Game 1. He tried to definitely work that angle, and it's really blown up in his face.
Yeah, Kachuk had a hat trick in Game 1, but right now you have to say that all the tactics that the Flames are trying.
It's not working.
It hasn't worked.
No.
That line, they have not been able to contain the best. And Connor McDavid is playing at a level that has people going, is this the most talented guy you've ever seen in hockey? He's been that good. The other thing that's been surprising in that series is Jacob Markstrom, who is a Vezina finalist, has not played well.
Nope, he has not.
He has not played well at all.
He has not played well. He's been outdone by Mike Smith.
He has, and that was not something that
no.
you would have predicted.
No one would have predicted that.
Calgary has been leaning on more of the defensive, tough game, and that's how you thought they would break down Edmonton, but it's gone the other way. So, but I do think those teams are even enough. I can see the Flames getting back in it, and I think St. Louis is an excellent team, but I think Colorado is just that much better.
Well,
they've got them at
like
home here
Wyshynski
tonight.
said yesterday. Colorado's doing something right. Like, they must be going to church, not just on Sundays, because they basically have not had to face the starting goaltender, which, is pretty darn important 2 rounds in a row, right? I mean, think about what Saros means to the Preds and what Bennington has meant to the Blues since taking back over and being the old Bennington. And they haven't had to face. I mean,
there has been a difference in when Husso's been in there and Bennington in the playoffs. In the regular season, that wasn't the case. Bennington was the one that struggled and opened the door for Husso, but the playoffs.
What's Husso's first name?
Billy
Husso. Billy. Yeah, I think it's too much. It's too much to overcome. I would say probably Colorado closes it out tonight. Hopefully there won't be any rain delays in their arena. I think that's good. But I think Edmonton's going to win that series. I think Calgary's – I know we've seen 3-1. You can come back. I don't see it. I don't see a comeback. Edmonton has been the better team since game 1. They just have.
And do you like the Rangers winning a game on the road?
Of course I do, Billy. I told you this was the year I was going to finally be right on the Rangers.
I am wondering, where are the Hurricanes that I've been watching? Like, Sebastian Aho is the kind of guy that usually is ever present. He's on you. If you stop him, he's still visible. I just haven't noticed him as much. He's not – and Svechnikov, he's not – they're not playing at the level that they're playing. You got to give the Rangers credit. And then when they have revved it up, it's been Shesterkin that has played as much as, as well as advertised. He is the guy nominated for the Vezina that's elevating his game and making them better.
Real quickly, before we get out of here, a couple things quick. Donovan from Wisconsin has chimed back in and wants to know who's going to win tonight between the Admirals and the Wolves. He says he's going to be in attendance. So cool. Well, of course we're going to say the Admirals.
They need it. They lost the first game. Is this game 2?
I believe so.
Okay.
But we're going with the Admirals. Okay?
Hope
Ready?
so.
Break. Donovan, enjoy the game. Thanks for listening. Matt in Mount Juliet. Where can I find the video of the fan being tackled? I can't find it anywhere. I don't remember where I saw it, but I mean, like I said, we were there.
I saw it on Twitter.
But we've watched it a bunch. I just don't remember what site, where I found it. I wish I could
I think
help
it was
Matt.
a random fan that tweeted it.
I think
and got
that's
a lot
right.
of circulation.
Yeah. I think, Willie, you're right. I think that's right. But we were there. We could hear like stuff going on. We're like, what is going on? But, everybody's in the concourse. And the people we could see were like watching the field. And we're like, what is it? It's pouring outside. What is going on? And they're like, whoa, ooh. And it's like, what is happening? Well, when we got home, we figured out what was happening.
Good form tackle.
Yeah. So, all right. That'll do it for our show today. So I wish I could help Matt. I don't know where I saw it and watched it 25 times, but it is an impressive video. We'll be back at it tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Continue to be safe, and we will indeed talk to you on Thursday at 10 o'clock. See you then.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
With all the new people moving here recently, we thought